listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Happy Friday. Happy Friday the 13th. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? Thanks so much for being with us. Hope your week has gone well. We, of course, here on the Florida Sports Network, we had 6 Game 6s last night. We had the NFL schedule release last night. We had probably 2/3 of a day and night of a Major League Baseball schedule. And we're a week away from the PGA, less than now. Got a lot going on. How are you?
Doing great. Happy for the Lightning. Happy for me, the sports fan that gets a Game 7 in what's been a really good series. After first 4 games were dominated by the winning team, but games 5 and 6 really competitive, really good.
Considering the team that took the lead into the third and both games lost. And of the 6 Game 6s last night, 6 teams obviously with a chance to advance. Only 2 of them did. So we're going to have a lot of Game 7s.
And that is what is, the best thing in sports. Game 7. Those 2 words should get the hair on your arms to stand up a little bit.
Anything can happen. Can have a double overtime hockey classic. I remember one year, late 90s, Wings and Avs, the most hated rivalry in the sport. And I think the Wings won a Game 7, like 6-0 or something like that against legendary Patrick Roy. I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
And as excited as you are this morning, Tampa, and you should be, a great win by the Lightning. At some point on this Friday the 13th, think of the superstition that is going on in the province of Ontario right now. Because they had a third period lead and the drought continues for at least 2 more days for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They played one of their best games in Tampa. I mean, they already won one, so it's not their best game, but they played really well last night.
I could argue it was their best game in Tampa. I mean, in hockey with the whole goaltending factor and the bounces, I think it was their best game of the series. Even when they were down 2-0, I'm like, they're playing well. The bounces haven't gone their way yet. Then to have late second period, the 2 goals within 26 seconds of one another, all in the final minute of the second period. And you're like, look at this. It's finally their time. This is the team that's going to do it. They can take it to the Lightning. Their A game seems to be just a little bit better. And then they're dominating the first 8 minutes of the third period. I mean, Tampa's got nothing going. I mean, no serious chances, can't connect on the passes in the zone. They're not shooting the puck. I turned on the radio last night. I actually had to do something in the middle of the game last night, so I'm watching the first half of the game. And then had to, do a quick thing. And so I was listening. Espo is just going nuts in the third period, just yelling in the middle of the play. Shoot the puck! I love him. Absolutely, because I'm with you.
It is such a different game than the game he played.
Yep.
And there are so many times they're in spots where Espo's got to be thinking, what are you doing, Pass? What are you thinking, Pass, right now?
As the play-by-play guy, okay? Up the zone in the wing, dump in, come on, make a pass there. You got to keep going. You're doing your play-by-play. All right, another 20 seconds goes by. Got to shoot it. You're still talking. I just love it.
It is, it's something. It's quite a listen.
I will, though. When you're losing, though, you can sometimes just sense the tension and the urgency in the announcers' voices. But it was great to have our buddy John Forsland on the call last night because he's so good. Thought Turner did a good job with it and discussing just the magnitude. And I think it was Keith Jones who just flat out said either late in regulation or early in OT. You got 14 teams in the league right now that are desperate for the Leafs to score the next goal.
Yep. By the way, we said it before the show, Keith Jones, who I thought was just a stiff doing the studio show for NBC for all those years.
For 15 years.
Never thought he was any good. Never thought he brought anything to the table. Never thought he had any energy.
No.
He's really good as a color analyst.
Where was the consultant at NBC to go, I've listened to him do Flyers games. We got to get him out of the studio.
He's really good as an analyst. My goodness. They wasted a lot of time on NBC having him in the studio because that studio show was dreadful.
So you want the ESPN studio show's dreadful too.
Well, I
mean,
PK Subban makes it a little better.
Okay. And I'll give you that. Him with Chelios has a chance of getting something insightful. A chance. But once again, Turner knows how to do a studio show better than ESPN.
Well, they know how to do a studio show better than anyone right now.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But it's interesting is they've actually taken some of the talents who were with NBC, put them on their studio show, and those people are completely different than how they were on NBC.
Well, and I will say they know how to either coach a host or let a host be himself, because Ernie's great. We all know that. Liam's fantastic.
And he was nothing like this when he was on NBC.
No, he gets to show his entire personality, and I think he is loving the opportunity to be on TNT. I mean, he has fun. That's the job of that guy. You're driving the bus, and you're supposed to have a little fun while you're doing it. But the Lightning with a monster win last night, forcing a Game 7. Brendan Point in the overtime with the goal with a couple minutes left in OT, forces a Game 7 back in Ontario. All the pressure in the world is on the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, there was a big penalty in Game 5 in which the Lightning had the lead and a power play, and Stamkos committed a high sticking penalty, made it a 4-on-4. Leafs scored twice on the 4-on-4 to turn that game around and ultimately win it. Well, there was a controversial penalty or two midway through the third last night. Lightning got nothing going on. We're 8 minutes into the third. They can't get a shot on goal, really. I mean, they're controlling the puck, but they ain't doing anything threatening at all. And then all of a sudden, two high sticking calls. I have a question. Could he have challenged the first one? Because that was not a high sticking. That caught him in the shoulder. The Lightning player, in my opinion, completely soccered it. Totally embellished a play that it did not. When that hockey player throws his head back, it's the stick or the elbow or whatever caught him in the face. That stick from the Leaf player did not catch him in the face at all. It was clear as day. It caught him in his shoulder just above the armpit.
So above the armpit's not a high stick?
Well, but you know why it was called.
Yeah.
You know why it was called. And no. Actually, come on. I mean, no. In the NHL, they'll never call you if you hit a stick in a guy's upper chest.
Depends on how the stick is. If the stick's up over your head, they will call it, and they do call it.
But it wasn't over his head. Okay, he was moving, and the stick was on its way up. It caught him in the shoulder, and the Lightning player threw his head back. He got the call. But as I was watching it, I'm thinking to myself, can they challenge this? They get one challenge a game, right? I'm like, man, this is kind of big. And then for the Leafs, a bad break. I mean, this just happens in hockey where sometimes your sticks collide, and it was actually Hedman, and both guys are making a hockey play, but Hedman is actually lifting his stick up, and the Leafs stick is on top of Hedman's. And so, hey, the Leaf player is responsible for his stick. Okay, but Hedman's actually maneuvering his stick and trying to get it not tangled with the other guy's stick. The puck's right there, and Hedman kind of helps the Leafs player's stick up, and then that did catch Hedman, and they got to call that. That's a bad break for the Leafs. That just happens. Can't
If
argue
you
it.
challenge and don't get it, you get another minor penalty.
Exactly.
And that's why at that point, you're going to give them a 5-on-3 and have the chance of losing the game right there.
Right.
You got to just give your penalty killers the opportunity and say, go kill a bad call.
Right. And obviously, as a coach, you're not thinking that 15 seconds later, you're going to commit another penalty and go down 5-on-3.
Right.
But I remembered when it happened and there was 12 minutes to go in the game, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, man, is this, do you roll the dice here? Can you challenge this? And I don't know that you can.
I don't think you can, because you can't take the chance to put your team down 2 men for 2 minutes at that point in the game. You just kill the penalty and you move on. Unfortunately, they get another one. Unfortunately for them, they get another one. And the Lightning score.
And then it was tense for an hour. The final 10 minutes of the third period and 18-plus minutes of overtime. It was tense. You knew next goal was a winner. And in one case, it could have been the series and the end of a mini dynasty. And instead, a Game 7. Does the dynasty continue? Can the Leafs finally win a series? Can they slay the dragon, their own and the Lightning?
Back in Toronto for Game 7. We shall see. The Heat get it done last night on the road with a dominant third quarter.
Jimmy Buckets, who told Embiid after the game, he said, I still wish I was here. Loved playing with you. Miss you. As he's waving bye-bye to the Philly fans. Bye-bye. See ya.
You guys really thought I was nervous.
I never actually, Felipe, I want to tell you this sincerely. I never once cared what your feelings were about the game. Whether it was nervous, excited. I asked you if you thought they were going to win. You said they did. Believe it or not, your feelings don't come into play when I analyze a game. I don't go, ooh, Sixers, Heat. Wonder how Felipe feels about this game.
I will say, if they were losing, I would have thought about you. I would have said, oh, he's seeing a Game 7 in his future. He's going to be nervous. But the Heat get it done. Not a lot of road teams coming up with big wins these days. But Milwaukee did it the night before, and the Heat did it last night. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Right. You know, when your owner doesn't say where you're going to go, people probably aren't as mad as the Tigers as they are the Cincinnati Reds right now, but they're only, what,
A game
apart?
They're a game apart.
The Tigers and the Reds?
Yep. A game apart. Tigers are 9-23, and the Reds are on a roll, baby. They've won like 5 of 7, 5 of 8.
If for some stupid reason the Reds make the playoffs, that's like one of the
well,
greatest
come on.
stories.
Come on, let's take it easy now.
I know. It's stupid for some stupid reason.
There's not a, they're done.
I know they're done, but that's why I'd be stupid.
You know what would be what you were trying to reference? If the Reds could actually hit the over from how they started when you were 3-22.
Yeah.
If they could actually come back, and I think their over was around 75.5 or something like that. If they could actually finish a half a game above the over under.
You know, the Reds are only 3 back of the Red Sox.
I mean,
Damn.
that actually would get you to stop gambling. Like if you're a gambler and you bet the under on the Reds and they're 3-22, you're already thinking about how you're spending that money.
Exactly.
And 5 months later, they hit the over on you.
Baseball has its mysterious ways of confusing the hell out of people.
All right. Steelers home openers, Patriots. That should be a good sell. Then the Jets. That'll be a tough one. Then Buck Brady. That's a good one. Saints. That'll be tough. Bengals. That should be a good one. Baltimore. That should be a good one. Vegas the day before Christmas. I bet you I'll sell those tickets because someone will buy them for somebody as a Christmas present.
Totally.
By the way,
And then the final game's the Browns. And I think if the Browns are in it, a Brownies fan could scoop those up.
Yes.
I think I need to start looking for my Packers in Miami on Christmas tickets.
No doubt. No doubt.
That is going to be awesome. Maybe I can just get a media pass.
Well, you'd have to send
You'd
an
have
email.
to send an email to someone. How's the one to the Panthers coming?
It's going well.
Here's the thing you have to think about. The Panthers could play in the Stanley Cup Finals, which is 5 weeks away. So there's still time if you kept at it every day. Eventually got someone on the phone. Well, no, we're trying to teach you about the business. If you don't want to know, I'll shut the fuck up. I won't talk to you again.
Yeah, because this is your
No,
job.
No.
This
Okay.
is, no offense.
mean,
This is your job, Felipe.
And you're a Miami sports fan. We're trying to do both at the same time, but we could just, treat you like you're a $9 an hour employee. But they could still go to the finals, which won't start for a good month, probably longer.
Now I got to look at your games. First game's a good game. Second game's Third game's Fourth game's a good game. Fifth game's a good game. Sixth game's a good game. Seventh game sucks. 2 good teams. Eighth game's a good game. Ravens and Saints, we don't know.
You know what's great about that game, though? That's the weekend that it'll be Alabama at LSU.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. So the Lightning stay alive. The Heat advance to the conference finals. I got a nugget. I got a Heat nugget.
Oh, I was hoping for a chicken.
At this hour?
Why not?
Okay. Courtesy of our buddy Tim Reynolds, AP Miami. Since Pat Riley came to Miami, the teams that have played the most conference finals games in the NBA, the Lakers with 50, the Heat and Spurs with 49 each. So obviously the Heat, since they've just advanced to the conference finals and will play a minimum of 4 games, the Heat will become the franchise that in the last 25 years has played the most conference finals games of any franchise in the NBA.
Pretty impressive. And this is the, third really solid Heat team. Third really solid Heat group, I should say, not Heat team.
Yeah. Because you had the 05-06 Shaq D. Wade. They won the title in 06. That faded pretty quickly. Then obviously the big three together, and they had their 4-year run, 2011 through 2014. And now you got the are they the Jimmy Butler
They have to
group, in which they've now gone to 2 conference finals in 3 years.
They're the dog pound.
That's already been taken.
Is that really what they're trying to sell as their thing?
No, they're just the players call themselves the kennel because there's just a bunch of dogs in there.
All right. So that's their thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we're old. The dog pound goes back to the Cleveland Browns in the 80s, but
and it's still there. I mean, in their eyes,
whatever.
Dog whatever talked to the owner a couple years ago.
Right. That is true. When the Browns went 1-31, I think, during that 2-year stretch, and Haslam actually met with a guy,
Dog Pound Ray or something like that.
Showed up for the meeting dressed as if it was the Steelers game. And you and I were on the air at the time, and you looked at me and said, "You love this, don't you?" I go, "Oh, you know me, Mark. I think you should occasionally press the flesh, get the idea of what it is the masses are thinking." And you looked at me and said, "I'd have fired everybody."
Everybody. Haslam walks out. I mean, who in the hell set this up? Who said this was a good idea?
Hold on a second.
I got a guy with the dog nose on in the room right now. Tell me how to run my franchise.
You guys told me I was meeting with Dog Pound Ray, and you had to tie me down and get me to agree with it. And I told all of you your jobs were on the line, but I didn't realize the guy was walking in looking like a dog. Are you serious? I'm a billionaire. I own the team. Could you at least have gotten him to take his head off? We digress. So that's why we think of Dog Pound. We think of something a little bit different. Miller and Moulton. The schedules were released yesterday.
They were. And I didn't play the schedule game last night. I was amazed. There was too much going on the television for me to play the schedule game last night. A couple of hockey games and a basketball game to pay attention to.
The only thing I was trying to do was to figure out selfishly what the Monday Night Football schedule was. That's it. And been putting them into my phone and going, oh, okay, so week 6, I'll go here. And all right.
Not too many. Like on the surface, your Monday night schedule doesn't look like there's a lot of bad games. And there have been years when you weren't able to say that.
Well, for $2.7 billion a year beginning next year, I think the folks at ESPN/ABC are hoping that year in, year out, you'll be able to characterize it the way you just did. Hey, not so bad. Well, good. It's good to see our $3 billion got us not so bad.
Well, for you personally, I just laugh week 2 because the better game is the game you're not going to probably do.
Right. I'm guessing they're going to put Joe and Troy on ABC at the later game, in theory, a bigger audience. But you're right. Tennessee, Buffalo
Is a better game.
than Minnesota, Philadelphia. Don't disagree.
But you get to start with the Broncos at Seattle.
Right.
Russ coming home.
Now, you got to give, we said that had a Monday night football game written all over it. I just didn't think they'd do it right out of the chute.
And they did. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be a great atmosphere.
I think it will. I think it will be. And Seattle in September, actually, beautiful weather. Probably their best weather month of the year. So, yeah, that'll be cool. I think I'll be in Colorado for the weekend for a college game, so the travel won't be too bad. And I know
only unfortunate thing that happened to you is there's no home Steelers game, so you still are 31 of 32 NFL stadiums under your belt.
Yep.
Still a trip to Heinz Field away.
Still have not done a game in Pittsburgh. Otherwise, I've been everywhere in the last 4 years. So here are some of the Dolphins are on Christmas Day.
Hosting the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, how about that? How about that?
Is that going to ruin a lot of Christmases in Green Bay, or is it going to ruin a lot of Christmases in Miami?
Felipe?
I'll be there.
Well, here's what I'm wondering. You're 21 now. I don't know if you'll be 22 by the time that game is played, but just curious whether or not you're going to be able to, because you'll obviously go home. You'll visit your parents, the whole deal. Will it be a family affair? Will it be just you and some buddies, you and your brother?
Do you really think you can pull that off on Christmas, saying, Mom, Dad, I'm going to the game?
I think if I slid the offer on the table, I think they'd take the bait.
What do you mean by put all the tickets on the table and say, hey?
No, he can't afford that.
No.
Dad, how about you buy the tickets and we go as a family?
Yeah, hey, say we make this a family Christmas thing.
So, I'd start working on it now.
Aaron Rodgers,
I'd start working on it now. But, yeah, that's an event, right? Christmas Day. One of the most famous Dolphins games ever was played on Christmas Day. It's back in the day, but that double overtime playoff game against the Chiefs, still the longest playoff game in NFL history.
Do we have a time for the game?
Yeah, it's the early game. It's 1:00. So that means, there's no Christmas at the house. You're getting up, you're eating, you're going.
I was going to say, go to that, then Heat game afterwards, if they get one, since they're winning the NBA Finals this year.
I'm sorry. He thinks the NBA still exists on Christmas.
Does to him.
That's cute.
And that's exactly what it is. That is cute.
That's cute. That's cute that the NBA still exists on Christmas, considering the NFL is now playing 3 games, 1, 4:30, and 8 on Christmas Day. He still thinks some people are going to watch the NBA. That's hysterical.
So do the people that run the NBA.
I know that. They're still going to keep scheduling games on Christmas Day, and that is adorable. That really is. That is so cute that they think that people are still going to watch their product on what was their biggest day before the playoffs.
Look, as long as Christmas is Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, they'll be just fine.
What is it, Monday this year? No, it's Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah, it's Sunday this year.
And the majority of the games are going to be on the 24th, 3 games on Christmas, and then you're going to work on the 26th, where you will be in Indianapolis for Chargers Colts.
Nothing, says Christmas Day quite like traveling to Indianapolis. So that's cute, Felipe. That's cute.
I'm curious now on
Yeah.
Does ESPN? Is there a spread on Christmas Day for you? Is there a Christmas dinner meal on the mouse?
I don't know. It's going to be a year of just I had the whole Fox thing figured out. I knew what hotels. I knew the food. Everything. Now this is going to be totally different. All the hotels will be different. I got to figure out, is it more food, less food? What's the per diem?
Free food?
Free. That's important.
Because there was free food with Fox.
A ton of it.
Say that 10 times.
Miller and Moulton. The starting 5 is next. Thanks for listening. Florida Sports Network.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Couple in India sue son for not giving them a grandchild.
Sue son for that. It's gotta make GBU, doesn't it?
That's what we're looking for. Like to get it out of the way early. Oh, Rich Straight not running the Preakness.
Yeah. Yes, Yinzer. Every network has a preseason game. One. I am guessing Fox's preseason game will be in Arizona because that's where the Super Bowl is. You know, DC, here's the thing. Sometimes the studio shows are kept away from the game, that it's two entirely different production crews, the studio show and the game crew. And oftentimes at the stadium, it could be where you guys actually don't cross paths, that the only chance would be at the hotel.
That's where you ran into Steve Smith all the time, right?
Yeah, at the NFL Network. Yeah.
David, today is National Apple Pie Day. Ooh, easy for me to say. National Apple Pie Day. National Blame Someone Else Day.
That's fantastic.
National Frog Jumping Day, National Fruit Cocktail Day, and National Crouton Day.
Oh, we have to remember this.
That's the short segment.
Well, DC, NBC right now is the only network that can flex games. I don't know exactly how it's going to work next year when both Sunday night and Monday night football, in theory, can have flex games down the stretch.
Elon Musk is putting his bid on Acquire Twitter on hold, pending details supporting calculation that spam fake accounts do indeed represent less than 5% of the users. Well, it's not true.
But Yinzer, I don't know where the ESPN preseason game is. What do you mean, will I have to travel for that also? Travel for what? The preseason game? Sure. Yep. Yeah, we did the Hall of Fame game last year.
Can't give up on the short side.
No. First time the Bruins scored first in the series.
Those happen.
Yep. It's funny. Kane started the third period great. Won every shift, scored, cut it to 2-1, and then
Jake paid $170 for those seats, 8th row.
okay. What's he going to do for game 7?
I don't think he'll go. He texted me yesterday. It was pretty funny. He texted me, he goes, "Did you give me rent money?" I said, "Yeah." Shit.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour, Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. Is the Lightning streak, did I see this, 17 consecutive games now that they've won after a loss in the playoffs? And during this entire...
Well, they never lost 2 in a row.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
17 consecutive times now after a loss, the Lightning have come back and won. I mean, this goes back to, winning the back-to-back cups and never losing 2 in a row. Now they're going to have to win 2 in a row, though. Going to have to get it done. There's no more rope. Can't go any further, baby. This is it. You're both at the cliff. Somebody's cannonballing into the deep end, and somebody's walking away with a smile on their face. But 17 consecutive coming off a loss win.
I'm just curious, what do you think the cheapest ticket for Game 7 in Toronto is going to be? Think 500 gets you in the door?
Yes, I think 500 gets you in the door, but I don't think anything less than 3 gets you into the door. Yeah. This will be a BFD.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
This will be a BFD. I will say this. If you know a little bit about hockey, we've been saying this is the best Leaf team in the last 25 years. I think you've already seen that in the series. There's not a Leaf team in the last 25 years that would be playing a Game 7 against the Lightning. Not a single one. This is a really good team. And the Lightning obviously have a really good team. 2 teams that are capable of making it all the way to the finals. And somebody's going home in 48 hours.
One set of tickets for $350 Canadian each. The next ones are $420. I don't know what our dollar varies with theirs right now. I'm not paying enough attention, but that's this morning. That will go up considerably by the time Saturday comes around.
I give Turner a lot of credit because they always show the huge crowd shot outside the arena, doesn't matter the arena, all the extra fans, and they're watching the game on a jumbo screen and what have you, and they always show the celebration shot after a goal or after the overtime win. And hardly ever is the shot shown of all those people after the overtime loss. And I give Turner credit. They showed that shot last night, and you just see thousands of mostly young faces staring at a screen as if my dream is going to die again.
I will say, being old, that is the one sports phenomenon that I think I missed on, because I would have gone somewhere to watch a game in my 20s. If I was Felipe's age and there was a game of consequence that I couldn't get tickets to, I think that would be fun, being among the crazies, if you will.
Do they do that at Heat games, by the way? All right. Is there a party outside there on the concrete?
Yeah, and like because there's a lot of places to watch Heat games, so there's a lot of gatherings around the city for like big finals road games.
Well, but you know what I mean. I mean, we're talking about thousands, like outside the Lightning games. They've got a huge concrete area in which those that can't get into the game, there's 1,500 plus people that are watching the game on the screens outside.
No, not really like that
because there's no real room.
Well, also that's the same place that they do Jurassic Park for the Raptors, because it's the Scotiabank Arena.
Right.
No, but they do it in Tampa too.
There's a lot of places that do it.
They do it in Pittsburgh, but Miami doesn't really have the room.
Right. That's why I wondered.
Yeah, not really. It's also on a busy road, Biscayne Boulevard.
I'm with you though. That is our generation, two guys in their 50s. Yes. That wasn't around when we were in our 20s.
The millennials and the Gen Zers didn't wait all night for concert tickets to go on sale.
Right.
we did that.
Exactly.
And had those parties. It's just different, but it's just one we missed out on.
Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
the new phone books are here. The new phone books are here. At 8 o'clock last night, the NFL schedule officially released. There were leaks throughout the day. I'll just try to do the highlights, okay? Well, you know you've made it when they put you in the first game of the year. And no, not the home team, because that means you won the Super Bowl. But the Buffalo Bills are officially a sexy team, because it's Bills-Rams on Thursday night, September 8th, to kick off the NFL season. Bills at Rams. Not bad.
Nope.
Week 1 for the Bucs. Remember last year they hosted Dallas. It was the Thursday night game. So this year, the NFL said, how about if you go to Dallas week 1? I think that's only fair. Dolphins host the Patriots. Last year they went to New England week 1. Jags, by the way, in Washington. So Doug Peterson facing an old NFC East rival. So Bucs, Jags on the road, Dolphins at home week 1. First Monday Night Football game is Russell Wilson's return to Seattle. And how about this little phenomenon for you gamblers? 10 home dogs week 1. 10 out of 16. 10 home dogs week 1.
There's a have and a have not right now in that league.
So, but you know, we've detailed it. Week 1 is anything happens week 1.
It does.
But 10 home dogs from a betting standpoint. Thanksgiving triple header. Once again, the Bills at Detroit.
Just kicking the poor Lions. They really have to give them the Bills?
Well, they got to make it sexy. They're tired of it being Bears-Lions every year. I mean,
What's sexy about 40-10?
It's watching Josh Allen.
Okay.
That's sexy. Giants at Cowboys.
Oh, see, they give the Cowboys the Giants.
And did I write this down? It's Patriots at Vikings is the night game?
Yes.
On Thanksgiving?
Yes.
I don't know about that. Christmas triple header. The Dolphins kick off Christmas Day at 1 o'clock, hosting Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Think about Green Bay this year. They got to go to London, and they got to go to Miami on Christmas Day. That's the 1 o'clock game. Denver and the Rams is the 4:30 game. Not bad. And Tampa Bay in action on Christmas night in Arizona, taking on the Cardinals. So Dolphins and Bucks both playing on Christmas Day. There are 13 teams, Mark, who have 5 primetime games. 13 of them. The Lions, by the way, the only team in the league not to have a primetime game. That means Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. Lions, the only team in the league. If the Bills...
Wait till 2023. They'll be like the Bengals. After this hard knock season,
Okay.
David,
All right.
and their run to the postseason, after drafting second overall, they'll have 5 in 2023.
Really?
No, it
Okay.
was having a little fun.
Gotcha. There are 9 teams that have a 3-game homestand, including Tampa Bay. There are 4 teams that have a 3-game road trip. That includes the Dolphins. So there you have it. Those are the schedule highlights. You know what to do. You know the drill. We're not going to play the schedule game. Oh, that's a win. That's a loss. We're not going to do that.
Maybe during the breaks.
Right.
We'll not go on air. We will.
No.
I guarantee you, we'll play the Bucks, Dolphins, and Jags schedule game during the breaks.
We will. I will say there is one schedule that has never happened before, and it's the Chiefs. They are the first team in NFL history to start the season with 8 straight games against teams that had a winning record the year before.
Ooh.
The Chiefs schedules at Arizona, home for the Chargers, at the Colts, at Tampa Bay, home for the Raiders, Bills, at the Niners, home for the Titans. 6 of the 8 teams won double-digit games last year.
Well, if I'm looking at this right with the Chiefs, they only play 3 teams with a losing record the whole year.
Well, think about it. You're in the AFC West.
Right.
And 2 of those games are Denver, who technically had a losing record last year.
I'm sorry. With Denver, that makes 5. So Jacksonville, the Texans, and the Seahawks, along with 2 with Denver.
So, but starting the season with, on paper, the most difficult schedule in NFL history based on what those teams had done the year before. All right. We had a bunch of game 6s last night. How many game 7s are we going to have between the NHL and the NBA? The answer right now looks like a hell of a lot. The Lightning forced a game 7, 4-3 over Toronto. Braden Point with less than 2 minutes to go in the first overtime. His 3rd career overtime goal, 17th straight win for the Lightning after a loss in the playoffs. Leafs haven't advanced to the second round in 18 years. Boston with 3 in the 3rd. And they finally scored first in the series against Carolina. They beat the Canes 5-2 to force a game 7. There will be no game 7 with Minnesota and St. Louis. He benched Fleury for Cam Talbot. Didn't work. Blues scored 3 in the second, 2 of them on the power play. St. Louis eliminates Minnesota 5-1. Blues in 6. Edmonton forces a game 7. It was tied late. 5 minutes to go. Tyson Berry scored. And then Evander Kane with a minute to go, I believe, into an empty net. Kane had 2 goals. McDavid a goal and 2 assists. Edmonton 4-2 over the Kings. So we've got game 7s in Toronto, Carolina, and Edmonton coming up on Saturday. Florida tries to move past Washington tonight. Pittsburgh tries to move past the Rangers tonight. Calgary tries to move past Dallas tonight. How many of those go 7?
Well, I don't know what Crosby's status is. So if he's not playing, I'll take the Rangers.
I think 2 of those 3 will go 7.
You're probably right.
Don't ask me which ones. The Heat said, we want no part of a game 7. Jimmy Butler with 32. He waved goodbye to the Philly fans. Their season's over. Heat 99-90. Miami awaits the winner of Boston-Milwaukee. Bucks up 3-2. Try to clinch that series at home tonight. Meanwhile, Phoenix and Dallas are going to a game 7. No road team can win a game in this series. Mavs won 113-86 They led by 15 at the half. The difference in the game, Dallas made 16 threes. The Suns made 6. That's a 30-point difference beyond the arc in a 27-point game. So Boston needs a win in Milwaukee to keep their season alive, and Memphis needs a win at Golden State tonight to keep their season alive. How many Game 7s are going to have in the NBA? Right now we got 1.
Well, I think Golden State takes care of business tonight.
You going to bet against the defending champs at home in a closeout?
No.
Major League Baseball, Astros have now won 10 in a row. They swept the twin bill from Minnesota. It wasn't supposed to be a doubleheader, but a completion of a suspended game. And 11-3, 5-0 Houston. Yankees, they keep on rolling. They scored 7 in the 8th. Stanton hit 2 homers. 15-7 Yanks over the White Sox. Mets have the best record in the National League. They beat Washington 4-1. They're 22-11. Give it up for the Reds, who have won 5 of 7.
Where are you going to go?
They're 8-24. They beat Pittsburgh 4-0. They're just a game behind Detroit. The A's took 4 of 5 from them in a series, 5-3. The Tigers are 9-23.
Where are you going to go?
Baltimore at St. Louis 3-2. Phillies blew a 7-1 lead, but scored 2 in the ninth.
Where are you going to go?
To beat the Dodgers 9-7 and Texas 3-1 over Kansas City.
Just want to point out quickly that while the Reds are as bad as they are, they're only 3 back of the Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox have been miserable this year. They're banged up. They can't pitch. It's going to be a long year for the Red Sox.
It's getting late early, as Yogi said. Sebastian Munoz shot a 12 under 60 to lead the Byron Nelson by 4 after the first round. Madeline Sagstrom shot a 9 under 63, has a 1-shot lead in the Founders Cup on the LPGA Tour. By the way, there's one of those Middle East tournaments, Saudi tournaments on the LPGA Tour right now that a bunch of them got, extensions for, so they can play in.
That's an actual Asian Tour event or European Tour event or whatever.
And so people on the LPGA side are kind of like, well, why'd we allow them to play in this? Shouldn't we be doing the same thing as on the – so –
No, because they let all the men play in that Saudi Open.
Just saying. And by the way, back to the Byron Nelson, Scotty Scheffler finally played. Hadn't played since the Masters, shot a 67. Steve Stricker, 7 under 65 is a 2-shot lead at the Tradition. That's a major on the Champions Tour. And that was the starting 5. Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. Let's get through this Friday together, shall we, on the Florida Sports Network?
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled, marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. And use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles Or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I think our poll question should be, do you believe in
Miracles.
no, the Friday the 13th jinx?
I would have released the movie today, for example. See, I would have released Friday the 13th today.
And see what you did there. Yep.
Who do we have on at 7:38?
We are going to have Griffin Youngs.
You got a Twitter handle for me?
Yeah, G Youngs NHL. So the
There it
fans.
So no guest today?
No, actually, we have two, and I'm sending it to you right now.
Gracias.
The second one just came in. Yeah, the Bengals. They went 10-7 last year as a fourth place schedule. They're going to be hard pressed to have a really good year, not sneaking up on anybody.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Poll question. You believe in the Friday the 13th superstition?
Yeah. That's true.
Poll questions out. Show tweets out. We're all over this. Didn't even have to play the schedule game this break.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you, Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. It is a Friday the 13th, and so that's the focus of our poll question. Simply, do you believe in the Friday the 13th superstition? Yay or nay? I believe in it.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah, I always get a little nervous, a little anxious on a Friday the 13th as if something bad is going to happen. Tim Russert died on a Friday the 13th. That reinforced my whole Friday. I was a big Russert fan. Don't think I've watched Meet the Press twice since. So, yep, I'm a Friday the 13th guy. I'm thinking something bad's going to happen.
I'm not. Sometimes you got to look superstition right in the eye and tell it to go blank itself.
Yeah, I look it right in the eye and go cower in the corner.
I know you do. You believe in the sports gods. You believe in the...
Come on, tell me I'm wrong about the sports gods.
You really think the sports gods would let the Leafs lose this much?
Absolutely. Everybody's got to have their turn, man. That's what they're doing. They're sitting around. Yep. 55 years since they've won a cup, and somebody up there is going, well, we made the Rangers go 54, made the Blackhawks wait 49, made the Wings wait like 42. Yeah. Yes, we do this to original six teams. Hell, the Bruins, till they won the cup in 70 with Bobby Orr there, they had gone like before World War II since the last time they'd won a cup. Yeah, absolutely.
Might have just been they were bad. It might not have been the sports gods.
6 teams, and the Rangers and Bruins couldn't win cups. I mean, that's a lot of work.
Right. There was this team called the Canadiens.
I understand. They were really good.
You know,
consistently.
it was kind of like the Yankees in the 50s.
Right, with no free agency.
60s, right.
Right. Once you got good, you stayed good.
Right.
For a long time. I got it. Nope, I know how it worked. But yes, I believe in the sports gods. Absolutely, I do. So if I'm going to believe in the sports gods, of course I'm going to believe something bad's going to happen to you on Friday the 13th.
I believe in the full moon. Bad things happen on full moons. And it's been reinforced. My wife's a veterinarian. She'll look up at night and go, oh, great, work's going to be wonderful tomorrow.
And my wife believes in the full moon thing too.
People and animals. Crazy comes out.
When we would walk outside, you know, when we had a dog and dog was doing its thing, and my wife would look up and go, oh boy, next couple of days is going to be rough.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious, in the words of the great Michael Scott.
All right. Plus, if you're a sports fan, aren't you a little stitious? Tell me you've never gotten up from one seat and moved to another one.
David, I worked in minor league hockey as a broadcaster for a long time. During the playoffs, if the team that I worked for lost, that tie was done for the rest of the postseason. And if we won, there was a good chance I might go back with the same suit and coat and tie the next night.
So the only thing you'd change would be the shirt.
Yeah. Yep.
This was minor league. You were doing this, right?
Oh, yeah. And working for an organization, superstition was fun. We had an owner who used to stand in the same spot for the third period, and someone traced his shoes around and, as when a run starts, and I was lucky enough for 2 of the teams that I worked for to go on long runs. One team won a championship, one team lost in the final. When you go on those runs, you can't help but buy into superstition. It's too much fun. And everybody buys in. It's not necessarily, it's a stition. It's not a Friday the 13th. It's not a full moon. It's just the playoffs, and you don't want to upset the apple cart. I always used to watch, and I don't know if hockey players still do it, but at the end of the warm-up, there is a routine that goes on as guys leave before they go off the ice. One guy may whack the goalie on each pad, but there is a little routine, and it kind of happens before each period too. And you'll watch a team, there might be 2 or 3 guys that do something. And then the playoffs start. Then there's 4 or 5. And then it just starts morphing into basically the whole team's got an assignment. No one talks about it. No one says anything about it. But if you don't do it, they will hunt you down and hurt you for not keeping with superstition.
Remember North Dallas 40, that cult classic? in which they're taping the one guy up and he slaps the trainer on the shoulder and goes, "Come on, man, what are you doing taping my left ankle first?"
Sit.
So it's our poll question. You believe in the Friday the 13th superstition, or as Felipe threw in there, stitious. Just, a little something for the effort.
You're not fully superstitious.
No, that's what's a great quote. You quoted Michael Scott there. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. That's great. No, we knew exactly what you meant there.
You don't have to break that one down. We get it.
Good job by you. We have had a few Cincinnati Bengals fans because I brought up the Chiefs' first 8 games. It's the first time in the history of the NFL that a team is starting the season by playing 8 games against teams who the year before had a winning record. Bengals fans are pointing out, take a look at the end of our schedule. And the Bengals have, one of those really nice schedules. They play 9, they have a bye week, then they play 8. And can't really do any better than that in terms of a balanced schedule. So coming out of the bye, Mark, you tell me how difficult you think this is. The Bengals come out of the bye with the Steelers at home on Sunday Night Football.
We'll see.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steelers on the road.
Okay, we'll still see.
Tennessee on the road.
Again, I am. It'll be tough.
Well, I mean, you could argue
Back-to-back road games.
but you can also argue, can the Titans be as good this year as they were last year?
I don't think they will be.
Then the Bengals have the Chiefs and the Browns at home, at Tampa, at New England, Buffalo at home on a Monday night, Ravens at home.
Pretty tough when the Patriots are the easiest game on the schedule.
And they won 10 games last year.
Right.
So
listening to that, the Titans or the Patriots are the easiest of the two.
So I guess those 8 games, there were 82 wins last year amongst those games. So, and the Browns and Ravens both missed the playoffs, both expected to be better this year for no other reason than you figure Lamar, knock on wood, is healthy. And so the Ravens don't fall off a cliff. And with Deshaun Watson, even for half a season, the Browns should be better, right? And they had a ton of injuries last year.
Absolutely.
So everybody's got, their team, their schedule, things they like, things they don't like, that sort of deal. But a couple of quirks that are out there.
I will say, since you started this Friday the 13th thing, I would love people today to text us their sports superstitions, because I find these to be hysterically brilliant in so many different ways. If you've never texted the show before, text the keyword FSN Radio to 21,000. FSN Radio, it's all one word, to 21,000. I'm talking to you, Lake City, if you want to text. But I want your sports superstitions. Like this guy says, I change shirts during the Dolphins game depending on how they're playing. My response to you is, how many Dolphin shirts do you own? Because you better have a drawer full.
The same guy also says, and I sit in the same place at home every game.
Well, that hasn't worked.
Well, yeah, and I don't understand why it is you change shirts, but you sit in the same place. I would change shirt, and then every time I change shirt, move to a different place.
Or keep the same shirt on and move. Try something different. What you've been doing, sir, has not been working.
I mean, unless you started this thing going all the way back to Shula, and you're thinking it worked once, it's going to work again.
Which would tell you that superstition does not work. I always laugh because I play a lot of golf, and we always play team games. It's never really, I don't play a lot of 2 against 2. Usually it's a group of guys, and your foursome's your team. And you'll have an order off the tee, and you have a good hole, and everybody wants to keep the same order. It's going to go badly. I always like, let's keep the same order. We got it going now. No one knows when the double bogeys are coming out. And it has nothing to do in the order of which you hit off the tee. But I would love to hear the people's sports superstition. You're a seat mover, right? When you're watching, you'll move.
Yeah. Well, I'm a pacer also. So
not a trotter, but a pacer.
Right. So that leads you to, I think, changing seats because you're up. You're up and you're moving around. Things get tight, I stand and pace. Most of the game I can sit, I can handle it. Third period of a tight hockey game, fourth quarter, ninth inning, my team trying to hold a 1-run lead in the playoffs, I'm up.
I could imagine you pacing last night in Lightning Leafs, even though you didn't have a dog in the fight, because it was an intense game. And if you don't have a dog in the fight, can you still pace?
Well, I wasn't pacing last night, but I was getting up out of my seat a lot.
Mark, of course you can. If you don't have a dog in the fight, you can definitely pace. If the game is as intense as it is.
It wasn't a full-fledged pace last night, but put it this way, if you were sitting behind me last night, you would have become annoyed because I was getting up too many times. It's like, sit your fat blank down so I could see what's going on, especially in the OT, because I'm rooting for the Lightning to force a Game 7 desperately, and the Leafs are owning the overtime.
Yes, they were.
So I was very tense.
Well,
very
our
tense.
philosophy in this series has been the best player might be the goaltender for Tampa Bay, period, on the ice. And he proved it in the overtime last night.
Sure
again.
did.
Man, was he good.
He had about 3,
Point blankers.
4 bell saves there in the OT. Paul asked in the Twitch chat room, what do I do if I go to a game? I got a big head, but otherwise I'm terrific to sit behind at a game. I don't move. I don't get in the way at all. In fact, I try to slouch down a little bit so my big head is lowered.
I was going to say, what do you do when you go to a game? Typically work.
Well, that's true.
When's the last game you've been to that you weren't working?
Probably a minor league hockey game here in Southwest Florida. That's probably the last time I've gone to a game that I haven't been working. Yep. So I don't know if that counts.
Right.
So a major league game, I'm going to have to think about that. I am going to have to think about that.
Because I don't know if you took in a hockey game or a baseball game when you were out west one time. I know you took a Wings game in Detroit.
Actually, right before the playoffs started, my mother and I went to a Rangers game at the Garden. That's the last professional game I went to that I didn't work at the highest level. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what are your sports superstitions? Text them into the show. You can tweet them at us if you want. It's still the David Moulton and that Mark Miller. Dave, not David, not available. Not happy about that at all as we tried to make the change yesterday.
Shimko in our Twitch chat room. I have a Canes hat signed by Ray Lewis. He signed it for me in a mall while I was in college. There have been many games where I pull the hat out and it works. I can't be greedy, but it's there for me if I need it.
The point he makes of not being greedy there. So you can't be too greedy when it comes to your superstition because your team will lose. That's good work, Shimko. I like that. Miller and Moulton. We thank you for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf. where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Man, here's what I don't know. What were the Leafs pissed about? Because the three Leafs came racing right off the bench after the Lightning scored. Look at.
Oh,
For survival, he took that off.
oh,
Yeah. If the other defenseman didn't put his stick in, I think the guy coming in would have gotten it off of the line. But he came in and their sticks met, and so the puck continued in. Yep. They're 0-9. Have a chance to. Johnny Mac, she hasn't caught on that you do that every time.
we got somebody listening to the 813 texting about the game last night. All right. So we got 3 minutes here, David. What the heck is going on? All right. Let's start with the Dolphins, David. Are you ready?
Okay.
Home for the Patriots. I'm giving them a win.
A win?
At Baltimore, loss.
Okay.
Home for Buffalo.
Loss.
It's 1-2. At Cincinnati.
Oh, wow.
It's 1-3.
Okay.
At the Jets, 2-3. Home for the Vikings, 3-3. Home for the Steelers. They could
4-3.
They could go on a heater right here.
4-3.
At Detroit.
Okay, we'll give them 5-3.
At Chicago.
Well, at least 5-4.
But that's what I think.
Okay, at least 5-4. But,
home for the Browns.
Ooh, that's right around the time that Deshaun should be back. Also,
I'm not joking. It's the week before the bye. That's going to be a monster game.
So we figured they'll be 6-3 for 5-4. All right.
So we'll give them the win and say 6-4. Figure a way
Sounds
that they
good.
get to 6-4.
So the 6-4 at the bye.
Then they play Houston at home, 7-4.
Right.
At San Francisco,
7-5.
Well, they're going to lose all three of the at San Francisco, at the Chargers, at the Bills. Losing all of those?
No, they'll win one, so they'll be 8-6.
8-6. Home for Green Bay, 8-7.
Oof.
At New England.
Oh, wow.
Home for the Jets.
So we're thinking at least 9-8, maybe 10-7.
10-7 if they can beat
They'd
the
have to
Patriots
sweep the
twice.
Patriots again. What we said yesterday. If I give you 4-2 in the division, sweeps of the Patriots and Jets getting swept by Buffalo, would you take it? That would have them 10-7.
You know, this guy who just said the Ravens are 12-5. The Ravens have easier. I mean, just NFC East games.
Well, also,
not NFC East. They just get the Giants as a crossover. What a gift that is for Baltimore. They finished last. They get the Giants as their crossover.
Yeah, that'll work.
Oh, I mean, they play.
Well, but Nell Skier, it'll be on Christmas. So, you know, this isn't Jacksonville in September last year when they melted. We just played the schedule game, Felipe, with the Dolphins. Okay. And it goes back to what we asked you yesterday. Would you take a sweep of the Patriots and
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. Griffin Youngs, who covers the NHL, will join us in a little less than 20 minutes' time. Pat Kirwan at the top of the 8 o'clock hour for all things NFL. Here on this Football Friday, to some degree.
Football Friday the 13th.
And that's the focus of our poll question. Do you believe in Friday the 13th superstitions? Yay or nay?
Texters say, my wife's a teacher. The full moon thing, real. Friday the 13th is not.
We just played the schedule game during the commercial break. So if you are watching, following, subscribing on Twitch, we did it quickly. It wasn't that awful. But Felipe, you had stepped out of the room, and we did it before you came back. Remember when we asked you yesterday, as a Dolph fan, if I say I'll give you 4-2 in the division, but it's the exact same 4-2 as last year, you sweep the Patriots and Jets, you get swept by the Bills. And you said you would not take that.
Well,
No. It was a take it, or you'll take your chances. They play it out and see if they can do better, or
get a 4-2 and get the Bills once. And you said it's got to be, I've got to beat the Bills. That
right.
was your thing.
Yeah, I said if I'd prefer to beat the Bills, but
right.
if our record
so you
is
wouldn't
terrible
take
in the
it.
division,
We it's once again, Felipe. It's a very simple thing. It's a yes or no. This is it. We're giving you 4-2 in the division, but here's how the 4-2 is going to happen.
And you said no.
You
That's
sweep
okay.
New England and the Jets, but you get swept by the Bills. And you said, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to try for better, or I want different. And that's okay. Just so you know, if you played the schedule game that we played during the break, we took what they had last year and applied it to the schedule game. We gave them sweeps of the Patriots and the Jets and getting swept by the Bills when we played the schedule game. And we had the Dolphins going 10-7.
Also, yeah, I mean, that's the end of the day.
That's how we played the schedule game.
And we were, I think, generous.
Yeah.
But we shall see. Not an easy schedule based on who they play, when they play. They got a 3-game roadie, which not a lot of teams have. We are asking your sports superstitions today because it is Friday the 13th. This person said Friday the 13th is a movie, not a superstition. Look it up. It was a superstition long before it was a movie. By like 100 years, maybe more. But that's all right. This person did say is that anytime the Florida Gator, he's a Gator, anytime they play FSU or Georgia, I'm pacing and screaming and sweating. Not so much worried about where he's sitting, what he's wearing, just pacing, screaming, and sweating.
Pacing, screaming, and sweating. Yeah, that sounds like the big three. It does. I can relate to that.
Texter from the 813 says, feeling good about Game 7. All the pressure is on the Leafs, but we have to stop the stupid mistakes and turnovers. We can't keep hoping that Vassy will bail us out. Yeah, I agree, sir.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're not the team you've been the last 2 years, though. Vassy's going to have to bail you out.
Well, I think particularly against this team, because offensively, Toronto's gifted.
Yes. Yes, they are. I will say this. They are playing better in their own end, and their goaltending has been better than how they've performed in recent playoffs. It's why they're a tougher out than they've been.
I've noticed that fans of teams that are mediocre to bad have more superstitions than teams that are really good. Like this guy. Must wear a Bears jersey while watching the game at home. If they need a boost by a particular phase, I will change jerseys to help. So I put on a QB jersey, defensive player jersey, etc. as needed. He finishes it with ridiculous.
Absolutely. Yep. Borderline
as
pathetic.
long as you know.
Right. Borderline pathetic, but that's okay. Works for you.
Gentleman sent us a super cute picture of his son in a Bengals onesie. He said, my son is 8 months old. He stays in a Bengals onesie on game day. Mom took it off at the third quarter during the Super Bowl.
So are we blaming Mom or Eli Apple?
Are you still married?
Who takes the blame for the loss then? Mom or Eli Apple?
Or both?
Eli Apple's getting a little bit of a bad rap. He gave up 2 catches in the whole game. Of course, they were on the final drive, but I'm just getting a bit of a bad rap.
I have a superstition, and it's maybe really isn't really a superstition, but I just go to the game. When I'm there, they don't lose.
That's your theory?
That's my theory.
You've never seen a loss.
So
it's been a while, very long time.
Are
since
we
I've seen a
talking?
loss.
So this is playoffs now, because I
Playoffs
mean, no
and regular
offense.
season.
So Dolphins, Heat, because let's face it, you're really new to the Panthers thing. You'd never gone to a Panthers game until we beat you over the head and chest 3
The
months
last
ago.
Panthers game I went to, they lost, so it
Right.
applies to the Heat.
So let's say Heat Dolphins thing or just a Heat thing?
It's just a Heat thing.
Okay.
When I'm there, they always win.
Well, then you better pony up for tickets, because let me tell you, the Eastern finals may be harder than the finals. I mean, right now, you could play Phoenix or you could play Milwaukee. Play Golden State or Milwaukee. For that matter, the Celtics. But you know what I mean. Right now, toughest out right now in the league.
I think the toughest out's in the East either way.
Could be the Eastern final, could be the toughest out.
Because whichever team plays Miami is equal in the tough out department.
So I don't know how much money you got left over from that college graduation, baby, but if you're a real fan, you would sacrifice it for the cause. I'm kidding, but that's how some of us think occasionally.
I'd go out and buy dinner. That's me.
and
Pay
watch,
rent,
right? Watch it on a big screen, but whatever. Miller and Moulton. So you like the Monday night schedule?
I think
You thought our schedule's not awful?
no. I
Give
think
it a
it's
B minus, a B.
I give it a B.
Give it a B.
I give it a B, and you go out west a lot. You're in Arizona a lot.
And we got like 5 games, I think, out west, which is actually a little less than I thought we were going to get. When you think about it, you got the whole AFC West. You got the Rams and the Niners. I mean, I thought, and for you know what, in giggles, they may throw you a game in Seattle and Arizona like they did. So I'm surprised we're not west more.
Well, you actually got a little bit of a break because you got some games in the Central Time Zone with West teams coming east. Or it could have been 7 or 8.
So, but it seems as if everybody, I even thought the Thursday night schedule is better than I thought it was going to be. There's a few really nice Thursday night games. I'm curious how Herb Street's going to be received by the NFL fan. When you're doing a one-off, people don't really come at you. Like when he and Fowler did like the one game of the doubleheader, it was just
First off, I thought they were good.
Yeah, I thought they were very solid. Yes. Well, they've got great chemistry.
They know the players.
They do. They don't talk a ton of football, though, which helps them. They just kind of do it almost like a baseball broadcast for a football game, and that's their style. All right. But now I'm curious, he and Al Michaels, how that's going to work.
It will be fascinating because just for Al at that point of his career to break in a new guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's worked with John Madden for 20 years on multiple networks, and then just did damn near 12, 13-year run with Collinsworth.
Right.
Yep. Now, and people may not care about this, what will help is everybody just about that Al's worked with at NBC, they're coming over to do the Amazon games behind the scenes. Producer, director, all that stuff. They're doing it. So he should have a comfort level there.
I'm curious what the watch rate is of it because they got a Thursday night schedule. I mean, they didn't do Amazon any favors with that schedule.
No, they gave them like 2 games in which you go, ooh, okay. But no, otherwise, I mean, Thursday nights was everybody in the league gets on once, basically. Because they get 15 games. So in theory, if you're not on twice, then that's 30 of the 32 teams that you get. Miller and Moulton. Back to the hockey and a bunch of game sevens.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
When a colleague at the business factory called, factory supervisor referred to him as a fat, bald cunt. We find it to be inherently related to sex. I love the fact in England that they use the C word like we use the F word.
Yeah, I know. That's weird.
Women say it.
I know. It's weird.
And my favorite one is because it's kunt when they say it. And the one guy that I can't think of, Paul Anderson's his name. I know him through a mutual friend. And when he gets going drinking, he goes, well, that's a bit kuntish.
Man.
That's such a great word.
I'm not comfortable with that. Really not.
They say it like the.
I don't get it. But this meme of this Tampa Bay fan in amongst the Toronto crowd taking his jersey off, then he's going to start making his way through the crowd. I'm sorry, I think it's smart. Sometimes, come on there. He stood there in that jersey the whole game. It's not like he's not a fan, but listen, you got it. He knows where he's at, not rubbing it in their face and just trying to stay safe and get home. I think it's totally not a fair, smart. You don't have to. I mean, I was stupid enough when I was young to wear my Giants jersey to the vet and a Rangers jersey to the Spectrum. That was a long time ago.
Avs guy, huh?
Yeah, but he covers the league though.
No.
Yeah. So they'll get St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Tough series.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Mello, we did. Listen, we're all in on Jimmy Butler. All three of us, we love guys like Jimmy Butler.
How could you not?
Well,
He fits right into.
Because he's a bit of a.
he can rub people the wrong way. But I love guys like I don't think you can win without a guy like that on your team.
See, Mark, people call him that, but he's just.
He is that. That's okay.
No, he just wants to win.
And he can be an a-hole. And he can be an a-hole a lot of times while doing it. I'm okay with that. Not everybody is.
Right.
And it's factual that he is. This is not. I'm not making this up. You don't have 85 people who cover the league say this and have it be false. Not everybody can play with someone like that.
Well, the people that do cover the league and they know who they are, who think that can.
Well, remember, there are 3 organizations that were okay with him leaving. What we're saying is true. I don't think you can win without a Jimmy Butler. I think you need a blankety blank on your team to win.
You know, and not all blankety blanks are blankety blanks on the court.
Right.
I mean, the story is that he's not just a blankety blank on the court; he's kind of a blankety blank.
Right. Now, Milwaukee last year proved that wrong. Both Milwaukee and Phoenix. I don't think
didn't even exist.
Yeah, it did.
The Heat? No, I don't know what you're talking about. And I want to allude to something that I mentioned earlier about yesterday about Felipe, Drew Holiday.
Then just allude to it, because sometimes you give a 30-second story of what it is you want to say. Sometimes
Drew Holiday is a borderline Hall of Famer, man.
No, he's not.
No.
Yes, he is. He's so good.
We think you're wrong.
Defense.
Thanks for listening. And now, more of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. Pat Kirwan to join us at the top of the hour to talk all things NFL. Mark, I don't know if you heard the schedule was released yesterday. It's a big deal, apparently. They took all the teams who they knew they were playing each other and where, in fact, they were playing them, and they put dates next to them. Stop the presses.
It did.
Well,
3 network shows from it.
Yes, they did. So Pat Kirwan to join us to talk about it coming up. It is Friday the 13th. That leads to a very simple poll question. Do you believe in the whole Friday the 13th superstition thing? So far right now, 60% of you do not. FloridaSportsNetwork.com, FL Sports Network, that Mark Miller, the David Moulton on Twitter, and you vote accordingly. Griffin Youngs covers the NHL for Fansided, fansided.com, with an emphasis on the Avs. You can follow Griffin on Twitter at GYoungs with an S, GYoungs NHL. Griffin, it's David and Mark. Thanks for your time. How are you?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. Thank you so much for having me on.
Well, it is our pleasure. Well, let's talk Leafs Lightning. All right, we'll talk our neck of the woods before we get to your neck of the woods, so to speak. Man, it's got to be tough to be a Leafs fan right now. What are you, 0-9 in your last 9 chances to win a series? Haven't won a series in 18 years. You outplayed the defending champs last night and lost. Oh, man, Griffin, what do you do?
It's absolutely brutal to be a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. I mean, you look at that overtime for the Leafs yesterday. I thought the Leafs played great. They had the majority of the great chances in that overtime, but you're talking about the 2-time defending champs in the Tampa Bay Lightning. They are not going to go down. And now this series shifts to Toronto for a Game 7 again, where all of the pressure is going to be on the Leafs once again, and a Lightning team that's won the last 2 Stanley Cups. I think it's going to be an outstanding game. I think it's going to be slightly different than last year because you could feel right after Game 6 against the Habs for the Leafs, all the pressure shifted to them. You knew Montreal was winning that game. I'd honestly say this one is a coin flip. Tampa Bay has thrived in this series after losses, but they're going to have to find a way to go on the road to a ruckus building and just find a way to get the job done. But if Tampa Bay gets on the board first in that game, or the longer they keep that game scoreless, the more anxiety is going to rise in that building. And is there a goalie you want more in a Game 7 than Andre Vasilevsky right now?
No, it's not close, Griffith. That's what I was going to get to. Really, you look at the two teams, and by the way, that game should be played tonight. Just for Toronto. Shouldn't that game be on Friday the 13th? Shouldn't they move that up a day for our own sanity? But Griffiths, as you mentioned, the overtime last night, we couldn't agree with you more. Toronto dominated the overtime and give one up. But both teams, Game 5, Tampa gets the lead and played a little bit reluctantly and tried to hold the lead. Last night, I felt that Toronto did a little bit of the same with 3-2 and didn't push it. When you look, I'm with you that you want to get the first goal. Of course you want to get the first goal, but these teams can't just rest on the first goal. Whoever scores has to keep going forward, because I think it's been proven in the last two. Both of these teams are good enough offensively that you cannot give up the offensive end of the ice.
Absolutely. You just look at the first 6 games of this series. These two teams have proven to be just about exact equals. It wasn't until even Game 5 that we even had a close game in this series. Both teams have taken their turns dominating, and you had a 2-0 blown lead for the Lightning in Game 5 that the Leafs won on home ice. Still a great game down to the wire. This time again, you have the Leafs coming back from down 2-0 in the second period before blowing that 1-goal lead in the third. I think this is going to be an outstanding game. Like I said earlier, even if Tampa Bay goes up 2-0, or if the Leafs go up 2-0, God forbid for their curse sake, like you said, you cannot rest on any of these laurels until the game is done and over. And it's a fascinating game. You have a Leafs team that is well known that has not been able to get out of the first round and is now, I believe, 0-9 in clinching games since 2017, and a Lightning team that's won 8 in a row. And eventually they're going to have to lose, but is it going to be to this Leafs team? It's a tough leap of logic to make that it's going to be that team, a team that's had so much trouble in the playoffs, but I think it's possible. This is a series I've been looking forward to ever since before it started, and it feels like destiny that we're going 7.
Griffin Youngs, fan-sided. Follow him on Twitter at GYoungsNHL, GYoungs with an S, NHL. All right, we had 4 Game 6s last night, and only one team able to close it out. That's St. Louis against Minnesota. By the way, you seem to take particular glee in the Wild losing. What's the story with that?
It's just with the Avs and the Wild. There's always a lot of trash talk going on there. A lot of Wild fans, they really believed in their team this season, and I have nothing against that, but I also kind of enjoyed seeing them go down when they called themselves the Avs kryptonite for all season long. It's nothing personal. I love Wild fans, but doesn't mean I can't take a little pleasure in watching them go down.
How about this little tweet from Griffin last night? For the third straight playoff, Fleury gets replaced and watches his team gets eliminated from the bench. All right.
With Marc-Andre Fleury and stuff like that, I love the guy. He's a great guy, but I do believe a certain amount of overhyping goes on, especially for the playoffs. We rewind back to January when Darcy Kemper was starting to turn it around with the Avs, but people didn't fully believe in him yet. It was essentially, for a lot of people, a foregone conclusion that the Avalanche were going to trade for Marc-Andre Fleury, which never made any sense to me. You look at Fleury's playoff performances throughout his career, the majority of them have not been great. 2008, 2009, spectacular Stanley Cup final and a Stanley Cup. But you look at the 2 Penguins Stanley Cups after that, those were won by Matt Murray. And then 2018, great run with Vegas. And just, it hasn't been the same since. I just never fully understood where that narrative came from.
Well, I think the narrative came from is that the Colorado Avalanche have had the best team in front of a goaltender for the last couple of years and haven't been able to make it to a Stanley Cup final. I mean, is this finally the year? Trust me, I'm a Red Wing guy, and this is so hard for me to say, but I'm a friend with Jared Bednar. I'm rooting for the Avs, but he's got to get it done or he's going to be looking for a new job.
I think this team is absolutely going to get it done this season. You look at the last couple of years, people bring up the 3 straight losses in the second round. The first one was to the San Jose Sharks after they beat the West leading Calgary Flames in 5 games. That was a 7-game series that went down the wire. Nathan McKinnon goes down in Game 7, and controversial endings and all that. Still, they go into that as an 8 seed, just barely miss out. You go to the bubble against Dallas. They're down 3-1. They've lost both Philip Grubauer and Pavel Francouz. They pushed that series to 7. They're up late. They just can't finish it out. Then you go to last year against Vegas, a team that was equal to them in every regard. The only thing the Avs had over them to get home ice was tiebreakers. And they fell apart in that series. But you look at the way they played Nashville in the first round, putting aside the fact that they swept them, they showed a lot of growth in that series. And if last year's Avs team played Nashville, I think that series goes 6 at least. This Avs team, they've shown a lot of resilience this year, a lot of growth this year. And I think they do match up well against St. Louis in the second round. And even at this point, I'd be shocked if they don't at least go to the Stanley Cup final.
Well, Mark, I don't know about you. I actually think the St. Louis series will be tougher than whoever emerges from the other division. I think Colorado has no trouble with even Calgary, to be honest. I think St. Louis will be a tougher out than will the Flames. All right, we've got 3 Game 6s tonight. We're paying attention to the Panthers. You know, we talk about the Leafs haven't won a playoff series in 18 years. Panthers haven't won one in 26, Griffin. 26 years. Do they take out the Caps tonight?
I think the Capitals had their chance to win this series, honestly. You go back to Game 4, that Garnet Hathaway empty netter. Him missing that, the Panthers coming back to tie that game, that was a massive shift in this series. Game 5, Caps up 3-0. And they completely deviated from the game plan that has worked so well against Florida in this round. I think Florida does get it done on the road. All the momentum's back in their corner now. If the Caps were going to beat them in this series, they would have already done it, honestly. And the Panthers are just too good of a team to stay down for long, and now they have all the confidence that they were missing after Game 3 back. So, yes, I do believe they're going to get it done tonight.
Do you see a little Avs in the Panthers? You know, not to say that they're going to go all the way, but that just their style of play, the skill that they have, and that, you know, now they're starting to get the playoff experience that you need. They played the Lightning tough last year, lost in 6. Do you see a little Avs in the Panthers?
I think the Panthers play a lot looser game, and they're definitely a lot stronger offensively, a little deeper offensively. The Avs, they've had some real heartbreaking losses. I think with the Panthers, it takes a little more than one playoff loss to Tampa. But I think they have overcome a lot in this Washington series. I mean, you just rewind back to Game 3, Caps win 6-1. The Panthers looked really dejected. And if the Caps held on for Game 4, then we're probably having a whole different conversation right now. But the Panthers have learned a lot. I think they need to just be a little more committed defensively. I don't know if Bobrovsky is the kind of guy that can carry you all the way to a Stanley Cup, especially as he gets older. But I do see a little bit of a comparison there. And if they do get the job done tonight, they're going to have a little bit of an edge over Tampa or Toronto in the next round with a few extra days rest.
I don't know what the status is with Crosby. I don't think he'll play tonight. If he doesn't play, do you think the Rangers can take this not just tonight, but take the series?
If the Rangers win this game tonight, all the momentum shifts into their corner. And if Sidney Crosby's not able to go, that's a massive hurdle for the Penguins to have to overcome in this series. And really the big thing, I think, in Game 6 is can Igor Shesterkin bounce back in Pittsburgh, where he let in a ton of goals, a ton of uncharacteristic goals on the road. If they get that, a big performance from Shesterkin, this is going to be a tough hole for the Penguins to climb out of, especially without Sidney Crosby. But like I just said, Shesterkin has struggled in Pittsburgh. If the Penguins are going to win this series, it's going to have to be tonight with or without Crosby.
You have to play Shesterkin tonight. And I'm a Rangers fan. I know exactly what I'm saying. I mean, he's one of the 3 finalists for the Hart. He's going to win the Vezina. But Griffin, they gave up 7 goals in each of the games that he was in the nets for against the Penguins in games 3 and 4. Are we sure that we trust him in that building where he seemed really shaken by the atmosphere and everything involved?
I think the Rangers all season have gone ride or die with Igor Shesterkin. You've got to do the same here tonight. He has the potential to pitch a 50-save shutout, but like we've also seen in Pittsburgh, they have been able to get under his skin. Alex Georgiev came in for Game 3, played great for the most part, but that goal he allowed to Danton Heinen for the game winner also just can't happen. If Georgiev had finished that game off in Pittsburgh without giving that up, I think I would agree with you, and maybe you lean him. But with that goal given up and just how much you have rode Igor Shesterkin this season, I think you've got to see this thing through.
All right, very quickly. Game 6 is tonight. Pittsburgh, Florida, Calgary, all the chance to close out. How many closeouts do we get?
I'm going to say that we get 2. I think the Panthers close out, and I think the Flames close out, and I think the Rangers are going to force a Game 7.
Whoa. Griffin Youngs, fan-sided, covers the NHL. Follow him on Twitter. G Youngs with an S on the end. G Youngs NHL. Griffin, thanks for doing this. We really appreciate it. Hopefully we can hook up later in the playoffs.
Absolutely, gentlemen. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Griffin Youngs from Fansided, kind enough to join us here on Miller and Moulton. It's funny. You keep talking about no Crosby and the Rangers. He's talking about the Rangers. I'm a Rangers fan. This series is over.
You've backed yourself into a corner during this segment.
I just, first off, love the fact they're at home, Penguins. Like, without Crosby, I don't think they can win without Crosby on the road. I don't. I definitely think they can win without Crosby in a game at home. First off, you could get Malkin could turn back the clock for one night. It's one night.
Well, look,
night.
At this point, he plays a different game at home.
Yes. One night. Secondly, Penguins dominate the faceoff circle in this series. Dominate it.
Well, Sydney's one of the reasons why.
I know that. And Jake Getzel right now is the best player in the series. Now, it helps because he's usually on a line with 87 there. But I'm telling you, and Mike Sullivan's the better coach in the playoffs. Okay, because he actually pays attention to lines and matchups, and Gallant just rolls everything out. All right, he's not as big into matchups, which in the playoffs I think is ridiculous. But I'm telling you, Pittsburgh can win tonight without Crosby. They really can.
Well, they're going to have to because I don't think he's going to play.
Yeah, I know. What?
I think it's a concussion. I watched the hit 4 times. It's not his shoulder. I think it's his head.
Did you? I thought the hit was clean.
I didn't.
Really?
I thought it was high. Again, borderline. I have no issue with them not calling a penalty. It was not worthy of a suspension. I thought it was maybe worthy of a 2-minute penalty.
What was interesting was the NHL didn't even have a hearing.
No,
about it.
Well, I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was worthy of a hearing. It's not like he threw an elbow up in someone's ear, but I thought the hit was high. I thought they could have called a 2-minute roughing penalty if they wanted.
He hasn't had a concussion in a while. Miller and Moulton. Pat Kirwan next.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove, with a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, the Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with the Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
To Marty? My name's Felipe Alvarez. I'm the producer for the morning show on the for the Miller and Moulton Morning Show on the Florida Sports Network. We are currently airing in 4 markets. Name the markets, soon to be on in Daytona Beach. I'm inquiring about credentials. I mean, I would wait until they win tonight before you send it, because for credentials for either Game 7 or the next round of the playoff. For asking about credentials for upcoming playoff games. We look on their website to see who their PR person is.
I am the producer of a morning sports.
I am producer of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show on the Florida Sports Network. We currently air in these markets. By the way, you can't get a Bronco Sport because the other Broncos are so much cooler because you can take the top off.
Right.
I saw one with the top off.
No,
I saw one with the top off.
I want to show you a video. Oh my
I don't want to see a video.
No, just,
I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're done. I don't want to see it. What part of I don't want to see a video does he not care about?
So you got less cool, more practical, and then less practical, more cool.
Why is it less practical?
Less fuel efficient, less cargo space.
If you're buying a $60,000 car, does it really
It's
matter?
not 60,000.
The big Bronco's not $60,000.
The 4-door one is 60,000.
I would hope so.
But that's the 2-door one.
What is this? What's the 2-door one?
Just the Bronco, like the big one, but just 2 doors.
Yeah, well, what's that cost?
35.
I think you're full of it.
You saw a 4-door one with the top down. It was cool.
It's badass.
It's awesome.
I want a Bronco. Damn you. See if they have one.
2-door, right there. I rest my case.
You buying cars? What are we doing?
He said that he saw a.
I didn't see. Well, I saw one with the top down. That's the only one you buy.
He said with the top down and said it was badass.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
There's a 2-door, 38,000. And by the way, that's a base package car. You can't get that base package because you're going to look like a tool.
Man, the air's on at 8. Starting an hour earlier.
listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the final hour of Miller and Moulton. If you're in Lake City, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice, we are halfway home. If you live in the 239, Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, thinking of the 239, that's where we're having our first golf tournament. 4 weeks tomorrow, Saturday, June 11th, West Bay in Estero. Sign up on the website, floridasportsnetwork.com. We're feeding you. We're giving you a nice shirt. Good conversation, scantily clad women driving around with alcohol on the course. You know how it goes. It's a scramble. It's a good time. Have you out of there by early afternoon. You can enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Find me in the beer cart.
FloridaSportsNetwork.com. Sign up. We haven't done an event in 3 years for a few reasons. We'd love to see all of you. We're very thankful of our audience. Pat Kirwan, we're very thankful for as well. He joins us 812 times during the season, courtesy of Pinchers from Tampa to Key West and many points in between. Pinchers because you can't fake fresh. Pat, how the hell are you?
I'm doing fine, and I might attend your West Bay event. I live pretty close to that.
I heard you can get there in a hurry, Pat.
Right.
Yeah, I could actually score the ninth hole and see who's cheating. There's a lot of balls in the water over there. I can tell you that.
I was going to say, we were counting on you as a volunteer. Okay, you were going to have your own cart girl. Don't tell your wife.
Well, what's the date of that?
June 11th, Pat. June 11th. Might have to make that June trip back down from New York at that time of the year.
Oh, I might still be around. We'll see. Anyway, it sounds like it's going to be a great time. And you left out one thing. The course is in tremendous shape.
Yes, it is.
I'll tell you that.
Yes.
As Pat's probably looking at it as we're speaking right now. Pat, what do you make out of NFL schedule release day other than the fact that the league's done a brilliant job to get on a handful of networks and take 2 hours of television for basically telling us when games are going to be played, since we've already known who they were going to be played against for 3 or 4 months?
Yeah, it's a filler, right? We're out of things. They love events, so they've got the draft and they've got all the things that go on in this league, and then all of a sudden there's this dead spot, which they said, let's use the schedule to fill up a week of time. Let's leak games for 5 days. Like, that makes the world go around, and then we'll go from there. A couple of things that just jump. First off, let me just say it from the NFL side. I say this every year when you have me on for this particular show. Coaches don't care about anything but the opening game. They care about where's our bye. That's a scheduling issue for those guys, an installation issue. And then, how many times are we on the road? That's it. And mostly they care about the opener and where's the bye. And the rest of it, they just deal with them. Because coaches and players are basically programmed to go 1 week at a time. I've never saw a player say, God, you see who we're playing December 12th? Forget it. They don't think that way. But we live in a different world. Things that are on my mind. How many teams are stuck with a division game week 1? There's 6 of those games. That's not a good thing. I will start a war on my show today because I can't stand certain teams getting 5 nationally televised games. Now, I love the Patriots. Great respect for Coach Belichick, but they're going to be on primetime 4 straight weeks. I don't think so. I don't think I like that. And why are the Raiders getting 5 nationally televised games? And what about the Baltimore Ravens? So every year we got to see Dallas 5 times, no matter what their record was the year before. They happen to be okay right now. Do we really have to see the 49er young quarterback 5 times? I don't think so. But those are the kind of things that hurt me a little bit now that I'm on the media side. That 5 straight road game thing, that's a problem, especially for Miami. You think about that one. And I know you guys have covered it. The 49ers, the Chargers, and the Bills, 3 straight road weeks. That's pretty much going to end their season.
9 teams with 3-game homestands, 4 teams with 3-game road trips. Bucks, one of the teams with 3 home games in a row. Miami, one of the 4 with the 3 road games in a row. And as Pat detailed there, all formidable, all on the road, all in a row. and lots of miles of travel involved with all of them. You wonder, Pat, actually, if you're the young coach, do you almost go on the road, if you know what I mean, and set up shop somewhere, and you're out there for 10, 12, 15 days, and you travel to all three games from one college destination?
Well, certainly when you fly out to play the 49ers week 13, you'd stay out there, I would assume, and play the Chargers the next week. But after that, you got to come back to play Buffalo. So most coaches want to go home and get in their house again, get back in their routine, and then pop up to Buffalo. But 3 road trips in a row like that, 2 of them on the West Coast. Yeah, I think 4 teams got the bad deal of 3 straight road games, but that's the worst of the other ones. You can look at the other ones and make a case, but Green Bay goes to Washington, then Buffalo. They'll go home. They won't stay in the East. And then they have Detroit. So that's not that bad. Kansas City, Cincinnati, Denver, Houston. Well, they got a breather with Houston. In Philly, the Giants, that's not a road trip. They don't even take a plane. They take a bus. Then they go to Chicago. No big deal there. And then Dallas. So Dallas would be a big deal. And it's the 3rd road game of 3. So you could make a case that that's troubling. I guess maybe the most important, not important, the most interesting thing to me is week 1. David, you're the historian here. I really spend a lot of time on first-time head coaches. Your first game ever, Eberflus is playing Shanahan, McDaniel's playing Belichick, Dable's playing Vrabel, and our friend O'Connell's playing Matt LaFleur. So I do think the other guys that have been head coaches, they kind of know the routine, especially guys like Lovey, Doug Peterson, maybe not so much Dennis Allen, who was a small, short-time Raider coach. But those other guys, Eberflus, McDaniel, Daboll, O'Connell, I think if we really, and I don't have the time to do it, but check the history of first-time, first-game head coaches. I don't think it's a very good record.
Well, and also, we get into week 1 because the stats out there, Pat, basically half the teams that win week 1 make the postseason. 25% of the teams that lose week 1 make the postseason. And you threw in those division games in there. That's where it gets really hairy. Patriots, Dolphins week 1 game, Steelers, Bengals games 1. I mean, that's where this gets pretty hairy early for teams.
Yeah, I think those division games that compound the loss in week 1, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. It's really weird. People still don't want to give Cincinnati any credit for last year. Like, oh yeah, they'll be back in the pack. Baltimore's back. That's how people talk to me. But the loser of that game, Pitt, Cincinnati, A, it's a loss in week 1, and B, it's a loss in your division. I just find that thing interesting as it relates to Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh's going to be on national TV 5 times. They kind of get and I like Pittsburgh, but no matter what, they're going to get 5 all the time. And I think this is not the year to give the Steelers 5 nationally televised games.
He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio Moving the Chains, weekday afternoons. Pat joins us courtesy of Pinchers from Tampa to Key West and many points in between Pinchers because you can't fake fresh. Was there something when you were with a couple of organizations, because you said coaches and players think a certain way. Do organizations look at the schedule? And also, how much input do they get? Do they get 10 minutes with somebody in which the NFL says, okay, tell me what it is you want. Tell me what it is you want to avoid. We'll do the best we can. Does that happen?
Well, Mike, I talk to Cats every year, and I'm having Mike and North on today. Mike will handle all the questions we have about this stuff. Yes, teams call and say, especially if they have special date issues with concerts, things like that, or they'll complain. Like one of those 2 guys, I won't mention which one said to me, "It's a good year if all 32 complain to us." That's the way it is. I don't think anyone feels totally satisfied with their schedule, and they like to bring up last year, or in the case of some, 4 years in a row, we've had this open up with, and then they go, "Can you make sure we're not doing that again?" So there are requests from those guys, and they try to handle as many as they can. But at the end of the day, they run millions of trials trying to get the schedule right. And then, of course, that Brady thing where he decides late to unretire, they had to go back and figure out how to get 5 home games for them, 5 nationally televised games for them, So they do have some issues, but we're not in any more stadiums with baseball, so that whole subject went away, which was always a problem. Oh, there's, remember when, who won it? There was a Super, I believe Baltimore won a Super Bowl, but the Orioles had a game or something, and they didn't have enough security to handle both an opening night. So all of a sudden, Baltimore didn't get that classic home opener after the Super Bowl. So there's those issues happen. No more with the baseball, but it does happen with security. You look at some of these places like Kansas City, where the baseball stadium and the football stadium are next to each other. It's not so much the game; it's do you have enough bodies for security, and so those things can still enter the equation.
Which team's got the most pull? I mean, is there a team that has more pull, Pat? When they call up and say, we've got this date or that date, are there teams that have more pull, and who are they, not named New England?
Well, I think Dallas. I mean, I've said it earlier on the show already. They get 5 nationally televised games no matter what their record is, and their fans always go, well, last year I made this case. We didn't have 5 for Buffalo or Tennessee, and I said, I'm tired of watching Dallas all the time. Oh, my goodness. The Dallas call. It's like they're calling to tell me something I don't know. We have a huge national audience. That's why they do it. I said, that's not my point. My point is there are better teams than yours, and I'm not seeing them enough. Well, they didn't like that. But I plan on saying it again this year. But Dallas seems to me like there's a couple of rules that are written in stone, and that's one of them. Dallas gets 5 home, 5 national games no matter what. I don't know why. As I said, do we need to see New England 4 straight weeks on nationally televised games?
Well, I didn't understand why they got so many primetime games the first year after Brady. I think they got 5 that year as well, and it was almost as if the NFL didn't get the memo that he wasn't there anymore. And remember about the Cowboys, it's 5 primetime games. Thanksgiving does not count as a primetime game. So they really get 6, marquee time slots, which is over a third of their schedule. We got to take a break. More with Pat Kirwan on the other side. You can send us a question. Either you could, send it, text it to us, FSN Radio 21,000, or for those of you that are taking us in via Twitch, you can send your question there as well. More with Pat Kirwan, courtesy of Pinchers from Tampa to Key West and many points in between. Pinchers, because you can't fake fresh. Miller and Moulton and Pat Kirwan on the other side here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. And use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
You
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You still north of the border?
Yeah, I'm still up here. They keep winning. It's amazing. They're playing Hungary tonight, so that's the next one.
Wait.
And it's worked out great with the Everblades. He won and closed out that thing.
Well, and Reading lost last night, so Reading's up 3-2. So game 6 of that series, I believe, is Saturday. So, and the Blades, unless the building conflict issue, moves it around. In theory, though, Pat, the Blades may not have another home playoff game for nearly 2 weeks unless building conflict forces it otherwise.
Yep. So I think I'm going to land up flying north and coming back. I got to come back a couple times anyway. So if they get a big block of time like that where they're not going to be home, I'm just going to go up and do what I got to do. I got a couple things for my wife I have to do, and I'll just go up and do it. It's no big deal. And I'll just come back. I got to come back for a couple of major events this year. So it'll work. I'll time everything I have to come back for with home games. Get a little streak of home games where I can sit around and watch 3 of them or something.
Pat, can you just find me 2 fired coaches that want to buy places in Southwest Florida? That's all I'm looking for.
Oh, you know what? I know you're in that real estate thing.
That's all I need. Plenty of kickbacks to the man at West Bay. Stone crabs for everybody.
You can close a deal so fast, Mark, because you don't fuck around with this other stuff. You just get right to the serious stuff. I'll look. You know what? It is the home of retired coaches. Or retired fired.
Retired fired. That's it.
Hey, I'm going to ask you, how many times is Fox getting Brady? I mean, last year you were complaining to me about it, David.
Well, they took care of him this year.
Yeah.
Fox has an amazing schedule this year. All right, good for them. But this is the last year of Fox and NFC, CBS, AFC. I still think Fox is going to get a little bit more than CBS is going to get next year. But Pat, in theory, next year, the network should have balanced schedules.
Well, I think they've been always trying to figure out ways to charge CBS more. And the CBS is always paid less because of the AFC schedule. But I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
Well,
that's
I think
CBS is excited about their quarterbacks. So they don't care about it anymore.
Well, yeah. First time in a really long time. I mean, there are more good teams under CBS's umbrella than there is Fox's. It's just that Fox has some of the absolute heavyweights.
Yeah, they have the ones like Dallas. But, when you look at the 5 primetime games, it's 7 AFC, 6 NFC. So they kind of won that battle.
Where are you, Pat?
I'm in Quebec.
Oh, is this the big Pee Wee tournament?
Yep.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Good for you.
Great.
This is like the biggest. It's like one of the biggest tournaments in the world.
It is. It's phenomenal what's going on here. And my grandson plays on the Jersey team. They're 5-0.
Any of the Everblades teams there? I know they've sent them up before.
No, they have not. They're not here. I wish they were here, but they're not. And I think they went to Chicago 2 weeks ago. So I don't think they can bang it out back to back. But Brady's playing with the Southeast Florida team in Austin, Texas in June. That's why I asked you when the golf tournament was. I know he's playing with them then. That tournament, we're going to Austin, Texas on the 15th of June. And we stay there till the 19th. I got him because my son-in-law can't keep taking off from work, and he's here for most of this stuff. And then right from Austin, I'm flying right back to Naples there to Estero because Ryan Betsy has that
15
showcase
seconds.
thing for the kids.
All right.
He's in that thing too. So anyway, it's really fun up here. They've played almost all European teams. They beat
We're coming back now.
Republic. They beat Latvia. It's crazy.
Oh, here we are coming back, Pat.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
Pat Kirwan, kind enough to join us for another 10-minute segment. Pat of Moving the Chains, weekday afternoons on NFL Radio, courtesy of Pinchers. Tampa to Key West, a dozen locations in between. Pinchers, because you can't fake fresh.
Pat, we got a question from our Twitch chat room, and I think it's a good one. Yinzer asking about what's going on with Pittsburgh with Kevin Colbert's replacement. Do you have any news there?
Well, they had a series of interviews before the draft and draft preparation. Kevin told me it was like he felt like he was getting out of his draft chair and going down to run those interviews. A bit of a distraction. But so they interviewed a lot of guys. They've had like 4 recalls on guys. I still think Omar Khan, the in-house guy, is going to get it. Now, I could be wrong there, but if they hire Omar, he is a strictly business guy, contract negotiator. So I think then he will take the opportunity to hire the best personnel guy to team up with him from all these interviews. That would be the way I think they do it. If they go outside and get a personnel guy like a Kevin Colbert type guy, then they'll keep Omar in his spot. But I don't know how long Omar would stay. So I think Omar, look, Omar's been around there a while. They know him. He knows the Steeler way, if you will. And I still think he's got a really good chance to get it. And then they'll hire someone from the outside to come in and run personnel part.
We'll say, though, I believe the last time the Steelers had a major decision like this, remember they had Wisenhunt and was it Grimm, the offensive line coach, or Munchak? I mean, both their guys in-house were thought to be the leading candidates, and they hired Tomlin. So they've shown in the past they're not afraid to go against what most people think they're going to do.
Well, that's true. They hired Cal the same way. Cal was like a 32-year-old special teams coach in Kansas City. So they've done that before. And I do think they like the young coach thing. But it's been a long time since they've had to really retool the personnel. 22 years, Kevin told me he was there. So I think the interviews, it's the old Al Davis trick. Bring in a lot of guys that know what's going on and have them tell you what they think of your roster, your cap situation, everything. So it's a pretty interesting way to find out what the outside world thinks of you. And you've been insulated for 22 years, not really. You even look at the way they draft. Yeah, they moved up for Troy Polamalu, but mostly they stay right where they are and take players. So they're gonna get a mouthful from everybody about how modern teams are doing things. Not that they're gonna want to do all of it, but I think that's good for them. Mr. Rooney, I talked to Mr. Rooney about it. He said he's enjoying. When a guy says to me, "I'm enjoying the interviews," I go, "He's learning things that he wanted to know." Just back to the schedule for a second. 2 things I left off my little list here. So Seattle's going to play Germany, and the week before that they play in Arizona. Is that ridiculous? Couldn't you get them an East Coast game so they can just pop over to Germany? No, that's one problem. And then someone wanted. This is right to Mark. This is a Mark question. Mark, why do the Raiders always have so many East Coast games? I think they have 4 in the East Coast time zone this year, and they always seem to have the most. Do they want to punish the Raiders?
Yes. The quick answer is yes. I look, until someone not named Davis owns that team, yes. And I know I have no proof behind it, and we can't find any proof behind it, Pat, but do you disagree with the concept?
Well, I think the proof was, didn't he sue for the rights to Los Angeles? David, you're a historian. What was the lawsuit that Al Davis, he wanted to retain his rights to Oakland, but he also wanted to retain the rights to Los Angeles.
Right. And he has sued the NFL twice, and he was successful twice. And most people aren't. Listen, and Pat, you know this even better than us, but you ask people in the Raiders organization, and they are absolutely convinced, all right, that the league sticks it to them every chance they get about anything they can. Any executive with the Raiders has believed that for the longest time, whether it's true or not. Speaking of a guy named Davis and the Raiders, we have a question that came in from RCB about, now you got an investigation into Davis and the Raiders. We have Snyder. We have Ross. What do you think the NFL is going to do here, Pat? And do you think they move quickly? Is this something you think they want resolved before September 8th? Or is this something that's going to take a lot longer than that?
Well, I've talked to a couple of lawyers about that, those subjects. The first thing they'll say is they're all different stories, so they're not going to get grouped together, nor did any of us on the show right now think they were. That's the first thing. Second thing is, unless they find stuff in writing, this is right from a lawyer. He goes, unless they find something in writing, these things will go away. In the case of what's going on in Miami, I don't think there's an offer that they can present and say, here's what they tried to do. So I think they're going to take a while. I think the season will go on with some of these owners, Snyder in place, and everything else. I don't think they feel, hey, we got to get Snyder out of there before the opener. So I do think in most legal battles, when you're dealing with these kind of guys with the kind of money they have, now you'll turn around and tell me, but look how quickly Carolina fell apart. Yeah, that has happened. But you asked me if I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna go slow. I'd like to know what you think, fellas.
I don't know how either of these go that quickly. I mean, I don't think anything in the legal world goes that quickly, and I think the NFL lives to drown these things out as long as possible. The longer they make them drowned out, usually the more noise goes away, Pat.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think they know how to, they fight these kind of battles all the time. It's nonstop for the NFL. And those guys have a strategy and they're fairly effective with things. They're battling Congress all the time about multitude of things. And now these ownership things, and we'll see. Now, sometimes the NFL would like someone else to make the decision. So maybe Congress is going to figure out why Dan Snyder has to give up his team. I don't know. I don't follow it that much, but I do ask attorneys things like David just asked. Do you think it's going to happen quickly? And they say no.
I find it interesting, though. They wrapped up that Hugh Jackson thing pretty quickly. But, to be honest, the whole investigation into whatever is going on in Las Vegas, it should not take long. I mean, it really shouldn't if you think about it. I mean, there's not a ton of people to interview. And the former president of the Raiders did all the dirt. I mean, he sent them the report. I mean, it really should not take long. They could resolve this before the 4th of July, the Raiders one. The other two, I think, could take years. But I think this one could be resolved in 6 weeks.
Well, again, someone just said they're always trying to stick it to the Raiders. There's one you can stick it to them. But I don't know. I try to stick to the football part of it as much as possible. I get out of my lane. I don't know enough about the law to start citing what's going to happen here. But
all right. Well, speaking of football, Pat,
I will ask you this question. You guys have any suspicion? This is right to Mark again. Why isn't Cleveland getting 5 nationally televised games?
I think because we don't know what the deal is going to be with Deshaun Watson and how the NFL fans going to react to Deshaun Watson.
All right. I agree with that. And is it a telltale sign of what the league thinks they're going to do by not really programming them in more than twice?
We shall see. Miller and Moulton. Pat, safe travels. And we'll probably start talking once a week unless details, make us do it twice a week.
Well, I'm going to make my announcement right here. I am reducing my workload from 812 appearances to 811. Is everyone okay with that?
There you go.
Perfect.
Enjoy
Quebec, Pat.
All right. Thank you, guys. Talk to you.
Pat Kirwan. He'll be on the air this afternoon. NFL Radio moving the chains. And he joins us twice a week, most weeks, courtesy of Pinchers. From Tampa to Key West and many points in between. Pinchers, because you can't fake fresh.
I'm going to do it next time. My next question, because there wasn't a lot of other NFL things and the schedule doesn't get him going. I just was curious how much USFL football he's watched and if he's watched players that he thinks can play in the league.
I'm willing to bet he hasn't watched a second.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, with the draft and what have you. But I'm guessing that he will start in June. Miller and Moulton.
Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
We've covered your team since the start of the season, and we'd love to continue to do so on site.
Yeah.
Let me know if there's anything you need on our end.
Well, no, you need to specifically ask. We would like, okay, does it say we would like credentials for your home games?
I'm inquiring about media credentials for myself and the two hosts of the show. And I was going to continue it and say either for Game 7 or Game 1, but should I just say 4 home games? Be
yes,
about it or be
for the rest of the 22 season. Okay, and then what you were going to say there at the end, please let me know, Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 And make sure you have your contact info there. Yep. Can't see the shorts.
And I would be getting those ready for the Dolphins and the Panther and the Bucks. You don't want to wait because you're going to have to send it 10 times before you get a response. All right, David, it's time for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play the schedule game.
All right, let's go.
At Dallas. In fact, they open at Dallas, at New Orleans. I'll give them 1-1.
Yeah.
Home for the Packers and Chiefs back-to-back.
Let's give them 2-2.
Right. Home for the Falcons, 3-2. At Pittsburgh, at Carolina.
5-2.
Home for Baltimore. Home for Baltimore and the Rams.
So let's give them 6-3.
6-3. Germany for Seattle, 7-3. At Cleveland, off the bye.
8-3. Well, Deshaun will be there.
Right.
Okay, that one's pending.
The next week's New Orleans at home. So let's just give them
1-1,
9-4. 8-4, right. At San Francisco. 8-5.
Well, what do we got around it?
Next game's home, Cincinnati. 9-5. At Arizona, I think 10-5. Home for Carolina, 11-5. At Atlanta, 12-5. Should be enough to win the division.
Oh, it'll definitely be enough to win.
Don't
the
know
division.
if it's enough for a 1.
There you go. Probably will come down to head-to-head.
Yeah, how did they do in that? Did they lose to Kansas City and beat Green Bay?
Do they play the Rams too?
Yeah, they play the Rams at home. They got both Green Bay and the Rams at home.
Yeah, it'll probably come down to those games as to whether or not they're the one or not.
That's an unreal schedule.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had tickets. Such is life.
Imagine if you had just waited a month.
Yeah, imagine. Story of my life. Got to wait for the bonus hour. It's another reason to follow us on Twitch. We're doing the Jags schedule game in the bonus hour.
So, Mark, when you called back, because I'm assuming you called back, they basically told you to bleep off.
Yep. I got a priority number, and I'm on the waiting list. Which I don't know why they've taken so long to do anything with that, but.
Come back.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the top of the hour. Our final segment of the week for those in Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Bonus hour to come at the top of the hour for those in the 239. Make sure you go to floridasportsnetwork.com. Multiple reasons. First off, you miss any part of the show, our podcasts are posted, floridasportsnetwork.com. You can sign up for our first golf tournament that we're doing. We hope it's a series of tournaments throughout the late spring and summer. We'll start in Southwest Florida 4 weeks from tomorrow, June 11th, thanks to Twin Peaks Budweiser, flgolfcarts.com. Going to have a golf tournament. You know the deal. Scramble, foursomes, raise money for local charities.
Eat, drink, be merry.
Right. We feed you, give you a nice shirt, and we thank you for supporting the show. We haven't had a chance to do this out in public since 2019, so we're looking forward to it.
Last time we were out in public, Daniel Jones got drafted by the Giants.
We did a golf tournament a few weeks later, but yes, exactly. 6th overall. That franchise in my life has not been the same since.
Boy, is that not the truth. All right. Seth Walder is an analytics guy for ESPN.
Do just want to say, last time we did an event, Tom Brady was a Patriot. But
yeah,
continue.
There you go. All right. Seth Walder is an analytics guy for ESPN. He has a little stat that with the schedule that I'll throw at you. It is the best net rest differential relative to your opponents. Apparently the Bills, according to this statistic, get the most rest of any, they're the Super Bowl favorites, by the way.
Yes, they are.
And they apparently are going to be the most rested team in relationship to their opponents with a plus 13 days of rest. The Lions are plus 11. The Broncos are plus 9. The three worst, the Packers minus 13, the Texans minus 10, and the Patriots minus 10. I don't care about the Lions and the Texans so much, but it will be interesting to see if this affects the Bills, Broncos, Packers, and Patriots.
You know what's so funny about the Bills? So last night, a Bills fan that we both know, is getting married today. And so they had a little rehearsal thing last night. And I stopped by. I'm unable to make their wedding, but stopped by last night, gave them, their gift and, was there for a bit. And, this is the sexiest the Bills have been since the early 90s. Well, he's in his early 30s there. This is the sexiest they've been basically in his life. And he was bemoaning all the primetime games. He's like, we don't play at 1:00 on Sunday anymore.
Oh, that's what happens when you get good.
And that's exactly what I told him. I go, dude, you're going to have to adjust because your quarterback's not going anywhere. This is going to become a regular thing for years. You're going to be good. Come on. They are putting you the first Thanksgiving game for you, not for the Lions. That game is sexy because of you. Of all the opponents they could have given the defending Super Bowl champion Rams to begin defense of what they accomplished, they gave them you.
So you open on a Monday nighter, for the complaint. Then you got a couple of roadies. You play your second home game is the Pittsburgh Steelers, right now scheduled to be a 1:00 start. Then you play the Packers. Don't know what to tell you. You get the Vikings at 1. You get the Browns at 1. You get the Jets at 1. The Dolphins game is a TBD at this point, as is the Patriots because in the flex thing. But most of your home games are at 1. Shut up.
Hey, Browns fan had to deal with this last year. Didn't the Browns get 5 primetime games last year plus a Christmas game against the Packers? It was either 4 primes in Christmas or 5 in Christmas, coming off the 11-win season and a playoff win. The Browns were a trendy, sexy team a year ago at this time.
The Dolphin fan probably hates the Patriot fan more than any right, or hates the Patriots more than anybody. But the Bills and Jets are close seconds. This type of attitude could get the Dolphin fan to really not like the Bills fan, because all the Dolphin fan wants is 5 primetime games. That's all they yearn for, is to have 5 events that we can say, damn it, baby, we're back in prime time.
To be sexy again.
Yes, that's all the Dolphin wants.
There are many slogans in about our country in the last few years, but the Dolphins want to be able to one day say, the Miami Dolphins, sexy again.
That is 100% true, by the way. And I speak for all of Miami.
Yes.
We've been doing this show nearly as long as you've been alive, and they've not been good in that time. They hadn't. We know.
And they haven't been sexy. The NFL officially said yesterday, one of the sexiest teams we have is the Buffalo Bills, and we are not holding back. We are all in on her. We are marrying her. We are walking her down the aisle, baby.
Yeah, we're not wasting a second with this one. Not even taking a chance. And that's why they won't divorce the Patriots.
Which they should. I'm sorry. They're not sexy.
No, but it's a humongous fan base.
It
that's
is.
Coast to coast.
They're not sexy.
They're not. You're right.
Listen, I picked them to make the playoffs last year. I thought they were going to be pretty good. They turned out.
Why? Because you thought their defense was going to be good with all the players. No,
right.
But
come
what
on
you
now.
were basing it on was nothing sexy.
Hey, you're the fantasy player amongst the two of us. How many Patriots you going to have on your fantasy team? How many do you desire to have on your team?
Not many.
Right. They're not sexy. They're not. They could be good. They could make the playoffs again.
But Bill's so polarizing that for every Patriot fan out there are 5 people that hate the Patriots. That's why they're on television.
I guess.
Now, I don't know if it'll be that way next year if they take a decline in any way, shape, or form. But they're going to bank on no decline first.
When you're selling the New England Patriots, who are you selling?
Bill.
Mac Jones?
No, Bill.
Got a running back or a wide receiver you want to sell?
Got a head coach.
Oh, okay. I mean, the sweater,
On
you
to
know,
Cincinnati.
the hoodie. We're selling the hoodie.
On to Cincinnati, which is what the NFL has done. They are on to Cincinnati.
Now, I'll say this 3 years from now, when he puts enough wins on the board in which he's entering a season in which he could break Don Shula's record and become the all-time winningest coach in league history, then I think you go back to selling the hoodie again. But we talked about it 2+ years ago when Brady left. There was an unbelievable case of Patriots fatigue that's out there. If I was the NFL, I would have backed off the Patriots this year.
I would have as well.
In a big way.
But they're not divorcing them yet.
No. I mean, heck, they've got 4 primetime games in a row, which is not easy to handle, by the way. I don't think that's a scheduling advantage at all. Patriots at Dolphins to begin the year, by the way. So what are they this year? Weeks 1 and 17, when last year they were weeks 1 and 18.
Yes.
And they're just flipping it. Last year they started in Foxborough, ended in Miami, and this year they go the other way.
Dolphins are quirky. They play the Patriots week 1, they play the Jets like week 5, and then they play those 2 week 17 and 18.
Well, the NFL's trying to schedule division games the last 2 weeks of the year when they can.
No, I know that, but to have 1 week 1 as well, it just a quirky part of the schedule for the Miami Dolphins.
And the key will be, can Miami put themselves in a position where that final game, where they are playing the Patriots and the Jets, and they can go to the playoffs if they win those games?
We played the Bucs schedule game during the last break quickly, just having fun. I forced David to do it, even though he hates it. I mean, just absolutely hates it.
12-5 is what we came up with for Tampa Bay.
But there's a couple of key spots in the schedule. They have back-to-back home games against Green Bay and Kansas City. We put those games as a split. Beat Green Bay and lose to Kansas City, it's going to bode a lot better to get some home field advantage. They also play Baltimore and the Rams back-to-back at home.
Right. Win the Rams game.
Right.
It's an NFC game. It's somebody that head-to-head may get you a tiebreaker come playoff time.
But the quarterbacks that are coming to Tampa this year, holy Toledo.
Well, you just mentioned them.
Right.
That's Lamar, that's Mahomes, that's Rodgers, and that's Stafford.
Yeah, your home opener's Rodgers, followed by Mahomes.
And Tampa, by the way, on the road the first 2 weeks of the year.
Right. Then they come home for Green Bay, Kansas City, and then you got Marcus Mariota with Atlanta. Couple of road games, Lamar Jackson, and then you have Matt Stafford come in. Then you go to Germany for Seattle. You come back after you're actually gone for 5 weeks if you're Tampa. You go to Germany on Sunday, November 13th. You have a bye on the 20th. Oh, I'm sorry, they're New Orleans at home. I thought it had an at there. I'm sorry. But it's still a little almost a month break from being home. Then you get New Orleans with Jameis. Then you get Joe Burrow. Well, and then, of course, then you're going to get Baker Mayfield on New Year's Day with Carolina. Just slipped that one right past the goalie. He didn't even look up when I threw that in.
No, I'm trying not to encourage you. Someone, Jotharian, in our Twitch chat room saying that the Eagles got five primetime games. I did not notice that, but I know they have 2 Monday Night Football games, both at home also. Week 2 and like midway through the season, mid-November game, I believe they host Washington. Anybody think the Packers going to take a half a step back without Devontae, or do you think that defense, quite frankly, is so good that it can carry them if early in the year they're struggling to score points?
The half a step back may be there. I don't know if we'll notice it in the regular season again, because I think, like you, Chicago's taking a step back. Detroit's Detroit, and I don't know if Minnesota's going to be as good as they were last year. I could see Green Bay going 6-0 in the division again.
Oh man, Minnesota better be better than they were last year. Heck, I got everybody fired. I know it's a first-time head coach and all, but Minnesota should be better, to be honest with you. First of all, the defense can't play worse. And, you can rail on Kirk Cousins all you want. He's probably a top 12 quarterback in the league. Now, he's at the bottom of it, but he's certainly a top half, probably a top third. And they got a big-time receiver and a big-time running back. I mean, they should be, and I think they should be a playoff team. I thought they underachieved last year. But if they're not, Doesn't seem as if they're going to have any challenge in the division. And let's be honest, I know we call it the NFC least, but how much better was the North than the East last year? I mean, the Eagles did make the playoffs at 9-8, and Washington won 7 games.
I think the East was better than the North last year.
So,
at least as good.
And if you don't think Minnesota is going to be any better than they were last year, well, they had a losing record last year. And none of us think that the Bears or the Lions are going to have a winning record. So Green Bay is going to be in a division again with 3 teams with a losing record. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Minnesota is going to win at least 9. But, I mean, once again, that's how you get the 1 seed, baby. Because that's a recipe to go at worst 5-1, but there's a chance for you to throw 6-0 on the board.
Then just take care of business in conference, and you're staring at a 1 seed. Although we know what that's done for them in the past.
Exactly. Packer fans like, listen, enough of the regular season. Could care less. It's all about the postseason at this point.
You're going to have to stick around for the bonus hour on Twitch for the Jags schedule game. I do want to remind you.
Are we really doing that?
To sign up. FloridaSportsNetwork.com, the Miller and Moulton Golf Tournament. Coming June 11th to West Bay. You can sign up as a single or as a foursome. Go to FloridaSportsNetwork.com right now. Look at all the information there. We hope you can join us on June 11th at West Bay for the Miller and Moulton Golf Tournament.
It'll be fun. 4 weeks tomorrow. Why not? Why not? What else? Where are you going to go?
Where are you going to go?
All right. Panthers, they put away the Caps tonight?
I think that they do. I really think that Washington missed their chance in Game 5.
Both Florida and Calgary are better than Washington and Dallas. It's just a matter of will they prove it. Like Edmonton's better than the Kings, but they hadn't proved it. But they did last night to force a Game 7. First off, I think Dallas forces a Game 7 against Calgary.
Ooh.
But I think the Panthers win their first series since the first term of the Bill Clinton administration tonight.
26 years.
May of 96, the last time the Florida Panthers won a playoff series.
Tampa, St. Pete, Lake City, Port Charlotte, have a terrific weekend. We'll be back Monday morning. For those of you in the 239, the bonus hour is on the other side as we close out a Friday right here on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Showing up with a brand new offensive system that you haven't really shown. So there's a chance for you to ambush them. Green Bay has struggled there, although not as much with Rodgers as they did with Favre. Yes, Kay Adams. In fact, she's done in an hour with the NFL Network. Her last day's today. And not joining Miller and Moulton, heading west. I think she's going to host the Amazon Studio show.
Mm-hmm. That's what you said, right?
Which is fascinating because,
you know, Philly, I was looking up all those Defensive Player of the Year awards that your guys got there. You know, because he's a
You talking about Drew Holiday? Talking about Drew Holiday?
Huh? Drew Holiday there with all of his Defensive Player of the Year awards that he has, because I see none. 0.
You guys think that Rudy Gobert should be a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year winner?
I can't hear you. I don't know why you're not. Well, I don't want to hear you, probably. That's probably why. What?
In 30 years, when we look back at NBA history and say, yeah, Rudy Gobert was a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year winner, is anyone going to believe how much cap that actually is?
No, because they just look at the awards and see who won. They don't go back and analyze things 30 years later and say they were right or wrong.
Right. Well, they were wrong about all 3 of those. So you can make a case with all 3 of those years. AD, Anthony Davis, should have a Defensive Player of the Year under his belt.
Okay, but I'm talking about your guy going to the Hall of Fame. He can't even win a Defensive Player of the Year award. I'm trying to figure out how he goes to the Hall of Fame. I'm just asking how he goes to the Hall of Fame as a defensive specialist that can't win Defensive Player of the Year award.
here's another problem.
Just a question.
Being realistic. Okay, you're making the case for him to be in the Hall of Fame. No.
I'm not, though.
Well,
actually, you are.
Well,
I said borderline.
2 days in a row.
Okay, well, but even borderline. And I would raise my hand and go, has he ever been better than the 3rd best player on a team?
You could argue he's playing better than Chris Middleton.
That's because Chris Middleton's not playing.
Well, this whole season is what I'm saying.
But on the Bucks, is he 2 or is he 3? Come on, be honest. It's not
Middleton's
hard.
probably the 2nd scoring option, but he does so much more than Chris Middleton.
You think the Bucks look at Drew Holiday as their number 2?
In terms of value, yes.
Okay.
He comes, they win a championship. The year before, they were the 1 seed in the East, and the year before that, they were the 1 seed in the East.
So is Robert Horry a Hall of Famer?
Say again?
Robert Horry a Hall of Famer?
Robert Horry has 7 rings.
So?
He's not a Hall of Famer.
Okay. You're just saying bringing guys in to win championships that qualifies for Hall of Fame. I'm just knocking your argument down.
But he was an essential piece.
Now that he was, okay, they knew what they needed. He fit it. I still think he's the 3rd wheel on that team. Now, 3rd wheels on championship teams can go to the Hall of Fame. Rodman, Kukoc.
Bosh.
Okay. Yes.
He's really
Now, I'll say this. They win another title, your case has a little more merit.
By the way, that famous alley-oop dunk in Game 5 of last year's finals, that play doesn't happen without a Drew Holiday steal and a Drew Holiday lob pass.
He's
Famous?
career.
Famous.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm not joking. I don't even know the play you're referencing. So it's tough to be famous when I have no clue what you're talking about.
Game 5 last year's finals in Phoenix.
Yeah, it was a Bucks-Suns final.
Knocked away and stolen by Drew Holiday.
Yeah. Here, I can look you dead in the eye and tell you I didn't watch a play of that final.
Of course not.
Okay, it was Phoenix and Milwaukee.
Hello.
That's not famous. That's like when the Spurs were winning titles. They're not famous.
Let me ask you this. Has he been 1st team All-NBA defense? Look that up. I say that because his career number.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. How the heck are you? The bonus hour of Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. Final hour of our week. You can text the show, FSN Radio, to 21,000 if you never have before. You can watch us, follow us, subscribe to us on the Miller and Moulton Twitch.tv channel. Final hour of Kay Adams, by the way, with the NFL Network on that Good Morning Football show. You okay?
Yeah, I mean, I work mornings now, so it doesn't matter. But when we had that hiatus,
right,
I took in a lot of Kay Adams. She and I had a little thing going.
You had a thing, did you?
Yep. I turned on the television and watched her, and she was on the television, and I watched her.
Well, here's when I noticed that the thing started when we were in our second act, and we spent a long period of time in that second act broadcasting from home.
Right.
So even though you were working in the morning, you were in your spare bedroom there where all the equipment was set up, and you were staring at the TV screen, and that was Good Morning Football. So also while working, you got a heavy dose of Kay Adams.
Like I said, we had a
thing.
We had a small thing going for about
Okay.
3-4 months.
Does your wife know?
Not a clue.
Okay, good. So Kay Adams leaving Good Morning Football. I believe the reports are she's going to front Amazon's Thursday night football coverage, the studio show. Richard Sherman expected to be a big part of that studio show. I think he will be very good.
I do too. I wonder, and I'm not even being smart, because one of the things that I found appealing about her is she's always wearing the football gear, and it's kind of cute.
Yeah.
She doesn't get overly dressed up. She looks
No.
like she's a fan at a game.
Right.
And I
lot
think
of
that's
sweatshirts.
Yeah, and I think that's a great look, especially in the morning. So now you go do a studio show, you got to get all dressed up and dialed up, and I hope she doesn't become a different person in the chair of a studio seat as opposed to running traffic cop on an NFL Good Morning show, because I think she's terrific at it.
And this is also a case of somebody wanting to work and live in L.A. The Good Morning Football show, even though the NFL Network is based in the bowels of SoFi Stadium, yet she and that show do the show from New York. So to be on that show, tough to do it from LA since it's a New York-based show. So she was one of those that said, not only do I want to, I think her specific quote was, I want a seat at the big boy table. And she views doing studio work for Thursday Night Football as a bigger platform than doing Good Morning Football.
Fascinating. I mean, it really is. It's a big move.
It's 15 games. We don't know how many millions of people are going to be watching each week. We know how many were watching Thursday Night Football on Fox. They were getting around 14 plus million people every Thursday.
And I have no idea if Prime will get a third of that. It's probably the non-football football thing I am most interested in heading into this year. And I'm guessing the NFL is more interested than I am of how this takes off or doesn't.
Well, here's what I'm wondering, because they have not finalized where Sunday Ticket's going, right?
No. One more year on DirecTV.
Yes.
That's the only spot you will get it. And we may have slipped up from time to time when talking about that, about not emphasizing that enough. This is the final year of the NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV. That is the exclusive home to the package for this year.
And I wonder, because the word is they're going to go with a streaming service. I'm wondering, are they going to hold off to see how the first couple weeks work with Thursday Night Football on Amazon? To see whether or not the volume, and I understand the companies involved, and in theory they can handle this, but come on now, We've seen many a rollout in which there's websites and there's streaming involved in which there are glitches. There's like, wow, we thought we could handle this. When we tested it, everything was fine.
Well, the other part of this on the streaming side that is incredibly relevant to the two of us is the world is going to gambling. We are gambling more than we ever have before. And one of the things about gambling that is there is live betting. And I don't know if we'll ever get to the point we're going to be betting pass or run on every play type thing. But if you're live betting a game and the stream's 60 to 90 seconds behind actual game time, that's a bad thing. And I don't know what they can do about that, David. That seems to be a problem to me.
Listen,
it doesn't have a problem. Sorry. It doesn't have a problem for me watching it. If I'm 60 seconds, I don't care. If you're doing the game wherever and I'm streaming it and my text to you about a certain play happens to be 60 seconds late, I'm sorry.
Right.
But it's not affecting my enjoyment of the game. But there's such a move to gambling and live gambling, and the streaming throws a little wrench in that.
Well, heck, there's a delay in a network broadcast between what's happening live at the stadium and when you are seeing it sitting at home.
But that lag is at least another 60 seconds behind when you're on the streaming end.
We've talked about this with golf. It's a sport that could be a gambling, boom. I mean, you could bet every shot in theory. I mean, it takes on average around 13, 15 minutes to play a hole. Well, you've got a 5-minute walk in between first, second shot, another 5 or so minute walk in between second and third shot on a par 4. I mean, it's time to place bets. Problem is, a lot of the golf that you see is not live.
I just got to interrupt this because we were talking about gambling. My bookie just hit me up and said, I owe you $100.
Wow.
That's a good bookie right there.
Had you forgotten?
Totally. It was our FGCU women's bet.
Against Vodtech. We were getting points.
That's a good bookie right there. All right.
We were getting points. You go, what do you think? I go, they're going to win. They're going to win. You sure? Actually, yeah. He's like, well, we're getting points. And we're getting like 7.5 or something. I'm like, oh, hard. Bet it hard. That was our degenerate moment of 2022.
Yes, we bet women's college basketball.
Yes,
okay?
we did. And we bet hard.
Where are you going to go?
Right. Kind of felt like we knew what we were talking about there. Which, let's face it, when you're gambling, most times you don't. Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network. But
I think you're on to something, though. Hey, look it. I know Amazon's a behemoth. I get it.
Right.
Do you think the first Thursday night football game goes on without glitches?
What's the first Thursday game again?
Or I guess it's week 2. It's the Chargers-Chiefs.
Right. It's on the
first
15th.
Amazon game. Sorry.
Oh, no, there will be glitches. No, I'm willing to bet a large amount of money that there will be glitches. Just like there is now. There are people who are constantly sending out on Twitter their frustration in which they buy league pass. Doesn't matter the league in question, and they've bought this and they bought that, and they go to it and the game's not available. And they take a screenshot and they send it out and they're like, how can this be? I'm paying for this, this, and this. How can I not watch? And it doesn't matter. It could be hoops, baseball, whatever it is. How in the world can I not get this game? You would have to think some of that will happen on September 15th when the Chiefs are hosting the Chargers. Right? Well,
yes.
If you're the NFL, though, you can't have this with Sunday Ticket. You can't have a 1-week glitch either. I mean, people will lose their minds over it.
We've already had it with the Apple TV baseball and that's just a Friday night baseball game.
Right. And I don't care if it is the Yankees or the Red Sox or what have you. It ain't a Sunday Ticket.
No. But that's what I'm saying.
So that's why I think if I'm the NFL, and the word is that the finalists are ESPN Plus, Apple. The finalists are streaming services. That's where the most money's on the table. Boy, if I'm the NFL, I may wait into the season. I mean, what's the hurry? We don't need to do this till September 2023. Why do I have to have this deal done in June or July? Don't I want to see how this Amazon thing's going to go?
The only thing I would wonder is that, because there is a lot of thought that when DirecTV said they were out, well, they've backed off of that. They may not be totally out. They may have this because the NFL, there's still talk that the NFL wants an over-the-air type of network to have the Sunday ticket, that they're not ready to go all streaming, that there could be two avenues, that it could be DirecTV and an Apple TV or an Amazon. If you're DirecTV and you're thinking about getting in this game and they screw up, you would think that would give you an advantage, but it is the NFL after all. What type of break are they going to give you to make sure it runs right?
None.
Exactly.
For the record. There is no home discount with the National Football League.
No, I mean a discount for something that works versus something that doesn't.
Yeah, I still don't think the NFL.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Even if you're sitting there at the table going, we can give you a little bit less, but we can guarantee it would work. And they would go, I'm sorry, what was the first part of that sentence again? Well, you're making about $22 billion a year right now in television revenue. You could afford a little bit less to make sure this works. And they'd look around and go, no, actually we can't.
Because the fact of the matter is they're going to have some sort of satellite service. There are too many places that don't get high-speed internet that the streaming's not going to work for. And the NFL is not going to miss out on those folks.
And as we've mentioned, how is the whole streaming thing going to work with sports bars? And if you're sitting in the room with the NFL, you go, yeah, I get it. I know it's all about the money. It's all about the money. But part of what we've done really well, better than I would argue all the rest of the leagues, is that every single one of our games has been readily available to a potential customer.
And the sports bar industry got killed on Saturdays when basically you can get every game at home. When ESPN says the ABC game's now on ESPN2 or whatever the case may be by region. The NFL, 1 o'clock, there's not a sports bar that's not jammed on Sundays. That's a big part of their audience.
Right. Because, by the way, most of all the sports bars are not factored into quote-unquote ratings. They're trying to get better at that and factor that in. So when you see, hey, the 425 game on Fox did 22 million people. Oftentimes, that's 22 million people sitting at home. That doesn't include the sports bars. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. And use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So if a game does 20 million, like that thing you just said there, it doesn't consider the bars?
Most Nielsen is not good at
No,
figuring in the
Nielsen's not in the bars.
No.
So we thinking it adds an extra 5 million?
No.
Only 10 million.
2.
2? It's a lot of bars in the country.
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, it's now time for the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule game.
Okay.
They open at Washington. That's a loss. Home for Indianapolis, that's a win because
they beat the Colts at home.
Right. At the Chargers, that's a loss. At Philly, that's a loss. Home for Houston, 2-3.
Okay.
At Indy, 2-4. Oh, this is a big one. Home for the Giants.
Oh, they'll win. 3-4.
At the Broncos, or home for the Broncos, 3-5. Home for the Raiders. It's a 3-game homestand. 3-6. At the Chiefs, 3-7. Home for Baltimore, 3-8. At Detroit, Sunday, December 4th. There's first round overall picks on the line here.
I think Detroit's better.
All right, so 3-9. At Tennessee, 3-10. Home for Dallas, 3-11. At the Jets, it's a Thursday night game. That's 3-12. At Houston, we'll just give them one. 4, and then home for Tennessee. They're 4-13.
Well, I think they'll win at least one of the games that you gave them a loss for. They got some home games there. They'll probably beat somebody at home that we don't like. Remember, they beat Buffalo at home last year. I mean,
right? So 5-12.
What? I think it's possible they can get to 6. I don't think they'll get as high as 7 as Deadstruck there says. All right, back to Drew Holiday quickly.
2-time first team.
Yep.
And if he gets in this year, it'll be 3. But I don't think a 3-time defensive year first team that's not Hall of Fame. It's not even mentioned.
16 points a game is his career right now.
Okay, that's
okay. 16 points a game.
It's 16, 6, and 4. Steal and a half a game.
Right. 16, 6, and 4. I'll tell you what. You know, would to have any chance in the world, and I don't think his resume is there, but to have any chance in the world, they got to win the title this year. Go back to back. Then that becomes a team that gets talked about. And you were part of it, and you were part of their big 3.
Canada, that was yesterday. I forgot to mention that, and today was the day 1, by the way. So did you.
You know, in the last 10 years, he's only played over 67 games once.
Holiday? Dang.
Danny Cannell. Wendy Bird is the most unlikable character in the history of television. Josh Pate. Someone told me this week they were giving off season 4 Wendy Bird vibes. Changed the room immediately. I don't know if she's the most unlikable character, but she's up there. Like, there wasn't a character on The Sopranos that was more unlikable than her. A character.
He's got get away from the top speed.
Before you say anything, and I know he was a Finals MVP one time, but do you think Chauncey Billups is a Hall of Famer?
No.
I don't. Because I don't think he had enough. Like, no.
Okay, then that'll be my metric. I think he's like on the level of Chauncey Billups.
Is Chauncey in?
I don't know. Let me check.
I'm guessing he's not.
He's not. But he's at that level. I'll say that. We'll come back.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. Well, last night was a chance for a whole lot of people to eliminate some interesting teams. Toronto couldn't eliminate Tampa. Carolina couldn't eliminate Boston. LA couldn't eliminate Edmonton in the NHL. Only one team able to close it out. So that's 3 Game 7s in hockey. Miami said to Philly, we ain't going 7. But Dallas said to Phoenix, oh, we're doing this. But we got 5 Game 6s tonight. 5. Start with hockey. Panthers get it done?
Yes, I think the Florida Panthers win tonight.
They are the better team. We knew that going in. They have now finally in the series began to show that they're the better team.
It sounds overly simplistic, David, but they got to 5 in Game 5. They had trouble scoring in this series. Washington had slowed them down enough. I think they found they gelled a little bit and found their offense. I love Florida tonight.
I don't love them tonight. Here's the reason why I don't love them. I think both the Caps and the Penguins, that this is kind of it for the core of what they've been able to accomplish. You know, the Penguins went back-to-back winning cups in 16 and 17. Haven't won a playoff series since. Caps won it in 18. Haven't won a playoff series since. I think they've gone about as far as they can go with all of the core players from those runs. Pittsburgh's got a couple of key guys whose contracts are up when this season is done. You know, Malkin's probably playing his last days in Pittsburgh. I think they're bat blank nuts if they don't bring Letang back and figure that out. I mean, he's their best defenseman.
I'm with you.
I mean, are you really going to replace
super
him?
popular and all the other things that go. I mean, I don't know how you lose him.
He's the only guy they trust back there. How are you going to
it.
lose him? But and I don't know if you agree with that or not. And I do think the Penguins have been better at working a few more younger people in than the Caps. But it's why I give the Penguins much more of a shot tonight without Crosby than most everyone else is. First off, the Rangers have shown that they're soft. I'm sorry, they're soft, particularly on the road. And there is a core, there is a championship core in Pittsburgh. There's a small but championship core in Washington. And I mean, Mark,
the problem is both teams don't have good enough goaltending. That everything that you are saying, David, I believe 100%, particularly about championship pedigree, core players back, all of those things. I think you're 100% right on. Here's the deal. There's a guy playing goal for Pittsburgh that doesn't belong in the National Hockey League.
You're right about
that.
The
problem for the Rangers has been he's outplayed the guy who's been the best goalie in the league all year because that guy sucks right now.
So, things you never thought would happen in a playoff series. The guy who's going to win the Goalie of the Year award and is a finalist for the MVP
is getting outplayed by Bobby Flay right now.
Guy who should be in a beer league. I will say this, Samsonov's played really well, though, for Washington.
He has.
I mean, he's not long-term, but I will say for this week, he's played really well.
But they got to him in Game 5.
They did.
And I understand what you're putting it on, but Florida's the better team. They finally found their offense in Game 5. I think it continues, and I just don't think besides, here's the other point, David. If Washington wants to play goal for goal with the Panthers and change a little bit of their style and say, all right, we've got to be a little bit more
they're
aggressive.
toast.
Well, then they're done.
They're toast. Absolutely, they're toast.
So they've got to play a style that's going to keep them a little bit more defensively, and I just don't know if that'll work against the Panthers in game 6.
Celtics, can they go into Milwaukee and beat the Bucks to stay alive and force a game 7 at home? A crushing home loss for the Celtics in game 5, up 14 in the fourth. Milwaukee they threw up 6 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. They hit all 6, came all the way back, won it in the final 10 seconds.
I like the Bucks tonight at home. I just don't think the defending champ gets beaten in game 6 at home.
You know, we both liked Phoenix last night going on the road in Dallas, and they got beat by 27. What do we even make of Memphis and Golden State? Because Memphis has played 2 really good games without Ja, and they're 21-6 this year without him.
I wouldn't bet this game because I think the number's too big. I think Golden State will win, but that 8 is a lot to be laying in a game like this with the way that Memphis has played in this series.
Yeah, I'm taking the 8 all day.
I don't disagree. I wouldn't bet it. I would stay away from that game.
Golden State better win tonight. Better win tonight. I know they're the more experienced and championship pedigree and all that, but they ain't what they used to be. Boy, the West looks like it has a chance to completely open up in the NBA. I mean, is Luka going to single-handedly dismantle the 64-win Suns?
I don't think so. Home teams have taken care of business.
He is. And he's going to go to the finals, and he's going to meet the Heat, and it's going to be Heat Mavs Part 3. And the Warriors are going to blow a 3-1 lead.
Man.
I'd bet you on both for the record.
That's out there. But let's see how many game 7s we can get. We already have 3 in hockey. We have a chance for 3 more. We already have 1 in the NBA. We have a chance for 2 more. So we're guaranteed 4 game 7s. And we have a chance to have 9.
Not too shabby.
It's a pretty good weekend of sports, potentially.
Not too shabby right there.
I love how 2 teams who really have no history, you usually see this in hockey more than basketball, but I do think it is legit. Dallas and Phoenix genuinely don't like one another right now. Luka is unlikable if you're on the other team. And Chris Paul is kind of unlikable if you're on the other team.
As we were talking about Butler, Chris Paul's got a lot of that in him. I don't know if he's that way, but I mean, on the court, he's a blankety blank to play against. And I mean that as the utmost compliment.
He manipulates the game.
And then meanwhile, think about the home teams tonight in the NBA. Are there 2 more likable teams than Milwaukee and Golden State? I mean, only Draymond. There's only 1 player on both teams that anybody goes, I don't like him.
Yeah, I would say Milwaukee's got it more than Golden State because Draymond Green is maybe the most hated player in the league.
Probably, yeah.
Because it's a love him or hate him too. Because you either like Draymond or you absolutely cannot stand him.
Him or Pat Bev.
I just think that, you got Draymond and he's yelling at people, complaining about calls, and he's, kind of instigating the fans behind the bench, and he's doing it playfully.
Well, yeah, whatever the song they were playing, he's dancing right there with them. They're down 40. He's dancing on the court. I mean, that's good stuff.
But then they show a shot of Steph, and he's still got those, beautiful eyes and that's still a little bit of a baby face. He's got that smile, and you watch the way he plays and you go, God, Draymond drives me nuts, but man, I love Steph. I mean,
when Dre was dancing, Steph was just smiling.
Are there 2 more popular players in that league right now than Giannis and Steph? And they're both at home tonight trying to close out series and go to a conference final.
No,
not from the standpoint of popular, meaning no one dislikes him.
Right. And they're both stars.
Absolutely.
Luka has a huge following internationally as well.
Yes. But but he's also not liked.
Yeah, but you can't find 4 people that dislike Giannis and Steph combined. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So you mentioned popularity, but I think you meant more likability.
Yeah, you're right. But
Right. But I think,
well, first off, I do think Steph's the most popular player in the league.
oh yeah, left in the
Okay.
playoffs, yeah, for sure. But I am excited to see how Luka's career pans out, because I don't think we've ever seen anyone in recent history since LeBron really just come out of the gates blazing like Luka has. I mean, he averaged 26 and 7 his rookie year.
Who's he talking about now?
Luka. No. And he's finally having a playoff run. I mean, it's the first time he got out of the first round.
Lost to Kawhi and Paul George 2 years in a row.
People don't care. They
I know
don't care.
people don't care.
Plus, they were up 2-0 in the one series.
They were here last year.
And they were up 3-2 heading home for game 6 and couldn't win. So,
But again,
listen, my favorite hockey team, they got a goalie who's been tremendous for 2 years. It's tremendous.
and I hate to pull this card, I really do, but it wasn't his fault.
Who?
Luka.
Yeah, when you're the best player on the team and you lose, it falls on you. It's the quarterback, it's the star player. This is America. This is how we roll. But Shesterkin needs to play well tonight.
Yes, he does.
Because otherwise he's going to go up there and he's going to get that Vezina trophy, and the whole hockey world's going to look at him and go, "Yeah, that don't mean shit." Just so you know, because you shit the bed in a playoff series where your team was favored and you lost to a guy in a beer league.
I just want to say this. In 6 games, I know you don't care. 35, 8, and 10 on 49% shooting.
Yeah, you got to remember, I'm a Knicks fan. Okay, and bottom line is Patrick Ewing was amazing in 12 playoffs. All right. I mean, what's Mike Singletary? I want winners. Now he takes out Phoenix. Ball game's on. No, now, because that's what, Jordan took down the Cavs and the Knicks in their breakthrough in 89. They were supposed to lose both those series.
LeBron took out Detroit.
Exactly. Single-handedly, by the way.
Yeah.
Single-handedly ended that team.
Yeah,
Mark,
They've not been the same since.
No.
No,
No.
They haven't.
No, I mean, they went to 5 straight conference finals, and he ended that franchise. Yeah, the 15 years since then.
Mark, when he had that game where he scored the last 25 points,
it was awesome.
You were probably heartbroken. No?
Pistons have given me more than enough in my lifetime. My fandom for most things ended in my 30s to be that nuts, except for Michigan State, and that ended when I found out they had a rapist on campus for 20 years. So that was pretty easy. I mean, the Pistons gave me so much in high school and in college. No. My Pistons, through the bad boys, I was given enough. And then the second run, they beat a Laker team that they were never supposed to beat. No.
Humiliated.
I mean, I feel like you might have gotten just about as much as I have so far as a Heat fan. 3 championships, a couple good runs with Hall of Fame teams. Yeah.
Well, yeah, 3 titles, 5 finals, and a boatload of conference finals. I mean, 10 or 12.
Did you know that since Pat Riley joined the Miami Heat, they have the most?
No, he's not.
He's not.
Do you listen to our show?
You played. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yes.
Do you listen to our show?
No, I had a moment where I was like, before I said it, I said, wait.
You're in the penalty box.
Did I hear this from somewhere else?
You're in the penalty box.
I heard it from Miller Moulton. I'm sorry. It was you guys. Good stat.
For the record, Moulton is up on the head palms to me 1-0 because I've stayed away from it today. The draw.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
The home stretch, Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us, Florida Sports Network. I'll tell you what. I know how my wife feels.
What?
Exactly. Honey, I'm sorry.
Me too.
Felipe has a gift because, this shift's killing him. And so he's kind of with us, but not really mentally and emotionally throughout the show. Physically, he still has not adjusted to this shift. My guess is it's going to happen here soon because he doesn't have college. So he's going to become a morning guy. But he doesn't pay attention to our show.
No.
Kind of like most husbands don't pay attention to their significant other when they're being talked to. And so we had a segment 3 hours ago in which we pulled out a Heat stat, catering to young Felipe. We entered his wheelhouse. And it was a stat that he had not heard. And it's the fact that since Pat Riley left the Knicks and went to the Heat 25 plus years ago, that once the Heat start playing games in the Eastern Conference Finals next week, they will have played more games in the conference finals than any other franchise since Riley joined the Heat. That's a tremendous credit to him as an executive. Felipe looked the both of us dead in the eyes about 60 seconds before we were coming out of break and said, hey, I don't know if you guys know, but since Pat Riley joined the Heat, and Miller and Moulton stared at one another like, no, there's no way he is doing this to us. I mean, he got this from us.
Right.
There's no way he is quoting us and not realizing he's quoting us to us. And so I would like to apologize again to my wife.
I'm going to do this to my wife this weekend. She's going to tell me something today, and I'm going to try to say it back to her on Sunday as if it's mine.
Just to see the reaction.
Exactly.
I think everybody should do that once this weekend.
I agree.
If you could do it 3 hours apart, which is what happened in our, 6 o'clock hour to 9 o'clock hour, that would be fantastic. But so I would like to apologize again to my wife. Mark, you as well?
Absolutely.
And I think, you know what? All you guys, let's face it, we're guilty. Just, you know what? Next time you see your wife or your girlfriend, significant other, whoever it may be, just walk right up to them, look them in the eyes and go, you know what? I'm sorry. And they go, what for? You just go, for all the times I did not pay attention.
It was one of those things where right before I said it, I thought, where the hell did I hear this from?
No, you didn't. You didn't.
No, I did. I swear.
No, you didn't. Because we could see your face, and it happened when our faces began to contort and look at one another like he does not realize the path he is walking down. But
I
he
just
is
said, what
walking
the hell?
down.
And I said it anyway.
Right.
I don't remember. Whatever.
Justify it however you wish to justify it, Felipe.
That's what happened, and
That's
I'm sticking to it.
fantastic. That's fantastic. Once again, I'd like to apologize. I'd like to apologize to my college professors. Right.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's do this.
Leave it to the oldest guy in the show, and definitely the oldest soul, to live in the past. Here's David Moulton with Today Was the Day.
We got to do something with that.
Yeah, I know.
I think that thing's on its last legs.
I agree.
So like the old cassette and the 8-track that you wear out.
Something like that.
Mark, I'm only going back to 1940. Churchill just became prime minister. His first address to the House of Commons. Remember, they're being bombed by the Germans. And he looks at him and he says, quote, I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. That was enough.
Seems to be enough.
Seems to be going on again. Today was an interesting day in 1958. Stan Musial got his 3,000th hit. He wasn't done. He'd get 630 more of them. But Vice President Nixon's motorcade was attacked by a mob in Venezuela on this day in 58. Fortunately, the vice president was okay. Few of the Secret Service were not. They got beat up. Took them a while for that motorcade to speed out of the situation.
Right.
1965, the Rolling Stones recorded Satisfaction on this day in 65. And then a year later, Mark, they released Paint It Black.
Heard they did pretty well.
That'll play, as they say,
Yes.
off the tee. That'll play, Satisfaction, Paint It Black. I did not know this. 55 years ago today, 1967, boxing began testing the octagonal boxing ring, trying to avoid corner injuries. So instead of 4 corners, they, I guess, were testing an 8-corner ring. I have never seen a picture of a boxing ring that
In an octagon.
that didn't look.
Like a boxing ring.
Thank you.
Obviously, the testing didn't go very well. They'd leave that for the UFC.
1973. This is the match that most people forget. They remember when Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs, the whole battle of the sexes. But Riggs first played Margaret Court Smith, or Smith Court, on Mother's Day and humiliated her. And she was at, near the end, but she, all those majors.
Right.
She was the biggest champion in the sport. And Riggs is 20 years older than her. and on Mother's Day and beat her like 6-1, 6-1. That's why, and people thought Billie Jean King was going to get destroyed when she played Riggs a few months later, or next year, whenever it was. 76th, the 9th and final ABA championship. Julius Erving and the New York Nets beat Dan Issel and the Denver Nuggets 4-2.
And the end of the greatest basketball league on earth was then ended.
And then the Nets, who were welcomed into the NBA, but they had to pay their debts, sold off Dr. J to the 76ers. Nets got to enter the league just without the Doc, who then went to Philly and took them to the finals against Portland. In 77, Howard Stern's broadcasting career began today, 45 years ago, on WRNW in Briarcliff Manor, New York.
Flamethrower.
Yep, no question. It was 41 years ago today, the assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II. He was critically wounded by that young Turk, who he then later forgave.
Was the Pope.
I understand that.
That's kind of the whole premise of the religion.
Well, I understand that.
And he's kind of the front guy.
Right. But that's when it happens to somebody else.
If he can't do it, who could do it?
I know there was a lot of pressure on him to do it, but still. I mean, you can forgive 3 billion people, but do you have to forgive him? Also, he did so publicly. Met with him, sat with him, prayed with him. I don't know.
Remarkable, it is.
Right. I think most of us go, wow. 1985, maybe this was a bigger deal in the Northeast, but Wilson Goode was mayor of Philadelphia, and they were having a standoff with a black separatist group, and he gave the okay for the Philadelphia Police Department to bomb the said black separatist group, who was stashed out in the middle of a big row of homes. Yeah, they killed 11 people. They also set fire to 61 homes. It brought no meaning to, they dropped the bomb on me.
Wow.
Baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
1993, the final episode of Knots Landing after 14 years on CBS.
Can't believe that show lasted that long.
18 years ago, final episode of Frasier on NBC. They went out on top. They had 33 million people watch their final episode.
Best, probably top 3 spinoff, if not top 1.
Top 3 for sure. Yeah, very popular. Well done. The first time the TPC was played in May was 15 years ago. Phil won it by 2 over Sergio. You remember Phil Mickelson?
Heard of him.
Right. It was 10 years ago today, Man City won the Premier League for the first time. 10 years ago. Now they're a powerhouse. And it was 3 years ago, Felicity Huffman pled guilty in that whole college admission scandal. I believe that's been 3 years ago. Joe Louis, Richie Valens, and B. Arthur, all born on this day and no longer with us. How about that dichotomy?
All I have is the movie Airheads when they wanted naked pictures of B. Arthur. That's just all I can think of whenever I hear her name.
Well, she would have been 100 today.
Happy birthday.
Harvey Keitel is 83. How old do you think Stevie Wonder is?
Oh, he's got to be 70, 71, somewhere in there.
72 years old. I
Pride
thought he
of
was
Saginaw,
older.
Michigan, right there.
I thought he was a little older. Bobby Valentine's also 72. Dennis Rodman is 61. Sean McDonough is 60. Stephen Colbert is 58. Chris Washburn is 57. Darius Rucker is 56. Mike Bibby and Barry Zito are both 44. Robert Pattinson is 36. He's been playing parts 15 years younger than that forever. PK Subban is 33. Tyrann Mathieu is 30. And that is today was the day.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Mitch Gilbert's are good today. And I don't know if all of you will think this is good because it puts a lot of pressure on you. Mitch has been married for 25 years and he really loves his wife, Denise. So what he did was buy billboards all over Bonita Springs, Estero, and South Fort Myers saying, "Hey, Denise Gilbert, after 25 years of marriage, you still do it for me. Happy anniversary. Love, Mitchell." That's a lot of pressure for the rest of us husbands. Good for you. For the bad, we go to India, where parents say they've used up their savings raising their son, paying for his pilot's training, as well as his lavish wedding. Now they are suing him if he doesn't give them a grandchild.
Wow.
They are demanding $650,000 if no grandchild is born within a year.
Damn.
No comment from the son and the wife. The lawsuit was filed on grounds of mental harassment by the parents. Finally, the ugly, we go to the UK, where apparently now, in the UK, calling a man bald while at work can be deemed sexual harassment. After electrician Tony Finn was fired, he sued his former employer for unfair dismissal and sexual harassment after he was fired last May. Apparently, his supervisor referred to him as a fat, bald, word I could never say on radio. He had been employed by the business for 24 years. He won both of his claims, and now in the UK, apparently, calling a man bald was compared to a man commenting on the size of a woman's tatas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seems to be a leap.
And by a leap, we think off of a cliff. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on National Blame Someone Else Day, May the 13th, 2022.
Got a lot of that going on today. All right. It's a Turner night for hockey. Rangers, Penguins, Panthers, Caps, TNT and TBS respectively. You can also watch Panthers on Bally Sports. And then the late games on TNT, Calgary, and Dallas. It's an ESPN night in the NBA. 2 games, 7:30 and 10. Boston, Milwaukee, Memphis, and Golden State. Since it's Friday, everybody's in action in baseball. The Marlins are home for Milwaukee. It's a 6:40 start.
I'm calling for a Brewers 1-run victory.
And the Rays are home for Toronto. 2 teams trying to stay.
That's a pretty good series worth catching a game for.
It sure is. And they're trying to stay within, both of them, within shouting distance of the red-hot Yankees. So there you have it.
Terrific sports night last night. Should be an amazing sports weekend with all these game 6s, a couple of game 7s on the horizon.
Well, already have 4 game 7s between hockey and basketball with the potential of 9.
How many do we get?
6.
I'm going 7.
Man, that's a lot.
It really is.
What a weekend that'll be.
By the way, who gets it done? Tampa or Toronto?
Tampa, baby.
Tampa breaks their heart. Just rips it out. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll talk to you Monday morning. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your